How you doing, everybody? This is Dennis Michelson along with Mike Anzaldi. We are coming to you live for Autobahn member racing from beautiful Joliet, Illinois, as we get set for the second of 3 races today for the Spec Miata class. And Mike, we saw some great racing, and now with an inverted field here for race 2, we're going to see some even more exciting racing this afternoon.
Right off the hop, we're going to see some good racing here. It's the Triple Crown that we do here once a season at the Autobahn Country Club. It's the South Track. This time around, what is the Triple Crown? Well, it's 3 shortened races that all take place in one day, and the results of each of those races will determine how many points you get for race number 4. Let's just call it week 4 in the Spec Miata Championship here at Autobahn. So we've done 3 weeks. This is our 4th week, a great week for some of these drivers to maybe take a break. You get to drop 4 races out of the 14 that we do every season. And with the amount of running that takes place today, it's not really the worst idea to save some tires. You get 16 of them throughout the course of the season. So a day like today might not be the worst to go ahead and sit this one out. But there are 18 cars, 17 cars that decided, nah, we're going to do it. We're going to race the Triple Crown. And that's what we're doing right now. This is race number 2 of the day, and this grid for race 2 is inverted. What do we mean by that? The results from the first race, the top 12 from the first race, will be inverted. And so you're looking at them right now. Brandon Collins won that first race. Jamie Gleitzman in second. Taro picks up third. Each person gets the amount of points of their finishing position. It's almost like cross-country scoring, kind of, so to speak. And so the lowest point total at the end of the day is going to be in first place. Second and third, and we'll do podiums after the third race, but you can totally see how this generally breaks out. So let's give you the starting grid for race number 2 of the day. Matt Alexander, who finished P12, he's in a backup car. He has the pole. Mike Ryan on his outside. Grosleck on the second row with Ballard. That's Scott, and he's going to be on the outside. Scott is. Matt Keck and Greg Sorg make up the third row. Josh Dale and John Joe Duane make up the fourth row. Joe Duane had a really nice race in that first outing this morning. Didn't get the results that he was hoping for. Jake Malter, Taro Kishida round out that last row there in the top 10 here in the Spec Miata, race number 2 of the Triple Crown.
Gavin Gleitzman, who finished second in the first race of the day, will be actually starting from pit lane for race number 2 due to a penalty in race 1. So with the inverted field, Mike, I think we're going to see a lot of action early in this one.
Yeah, I think so too. Interesting that we do have Matt Alexander, who is a stalwart here in the Spec Miata series. He's been around for 15 seasons, over 200 races, coming up on 220 races for Matt Alexander. This guy's been around, so the fact that he's on the pole is going to be a nice feather in his cap. The whole group is getting organized on the back straight, and they're going 2 by 2 as they come through turn 11 here. The pace car will be peeling off toward pit lane, and we will get race number 2 of the day for Spec Miata underway here shortly.
Matt Alexander, Mike Ryan will take him side by side to the green flag. We'll have 17 cars starting in this one. The pace car hits pit lane. Green flag in hand, and we're racing. Alexander and Ryan fighting for that lead, and they're 3 wide behind him.
No position changes yet. Matt Alexander takes it to the inside at 2, and he'll have a nice run through 3. As we get organized, it looks like side by side for P3 and 4. As the field rushes down to turn 4. 3 wide heading into turn 4. Wow! As you get back to positions 3, 4, 5, and 6, that battle is heating up right off the hop.
Matt Alexander continues to lead the way as the field sorts itself out with Mike Ryan in second, Bob Groslick in third. Mike, remind folks what we're racing today here. Last time we were on a live broadcast, we were racing full circuit, but not today.
Not today. Today we're on the South course here at Autobahn. It's a 2.1 mile course on the south part of the property that is a fan favorite, a member favorite here. It's a little bit higher speed track. The lap times we'll be looking at are somewhere right around the high 130s, 138s, 137s, 139s, somewhere in there. But yeah, a little bit of a battle going down as we head into turn 11 for the lead. That's a Groschleck versus Alexander. It looks like he gets it done on the inside. And off we go. Or is that Mike Ryan picking up Matt Alexander as we go into turn 13? Action up front. 2 wide. Look at Alexander is getting collected by Mike Ryan, Groschleck, Scott Ballard now in the mix.
We'll come back to the end of our first lap here and we'll get it all sorted out. Scott Ballard on top.
Yeah, for sure. That was Ballard that took over P1, and now Alexander is battling to hold on to P2. That might be a tough situation where he's got Groschlick, Ryan, and Brandon Collins all in that makeup, and we're 3 wide and a crash heading into turn 4. We've got contact that looks like it's going to be Matt Alexander as one of the cars out, and the other one, it looks like it's going to be tough to say at the moment. Tough to say at this moment. Let's see if we can...
Was that Matt Alexander getting collected?
It was certainly Matt Alexander into turn 4. We're going to obviously probably be seeing some sort of certainly a yellow flag through that area at the moment, and we'll see if they can get those cars going. But there was contact on the inside wall, let's call it the outside wall of turn 4, and it looks like one of those cars has made it off. So we got Alexander, who's made it back into the race, but the other car that came into contact looks like it's off and off to the side. Is that Taro Kishida? Possibly. We're trying to get ourselves sorted here, but as the field makes their way down the back stretch, we do have some drama in the top 5. Scott Ballard currently with the lead.
Some debris on the track from that accident. I think we will probably have to slow things down, but
yeah, you can see it now. Great shot there from turn 4. Looking back, it looks like a little bit of debris there. Don't know if anybody can get out there and collect that without a safety car, but we'll find out here soon enough.
There was pretty hard contact out there, so there definitely was some body work flying. And after lap 2 in the board, Scott Ballard continues to lead. Brandon Collins in second. Mike Ryan in third. Taro Kishido in 4th place with John Jodoin in 5th. Josh Dale, Matt Keck, Kevin Lockridge, Art Zeismer, and Jake Malter rounding out your top 10. And Gavin Gleitzman, who started 17th and last, already up to 13th.
That looks like it's Groschleck, who was the other car involved in the Matt Alexander incident as they approach turn 4. He is safely off the track and out of the right-of-way. We're not seeing anything other than a debris flag in turn 4 at the moment, so we keep racing. Looks like we got Brandon Collins. Let's follow this story as well. Brandon Collins, the current leader in the Spec Miata Championship, up to P2 at this point, and his last lap was a 39.8. He is now giving Ballard all that he can handle. It does look like we are going to get a vehicle out on the track. It's not clear if this is a full safety car or if they're going to be able to complete that operation without going full course caution. But we're still racing up front.
Racing up front, and that lead duo of Ballard and Collins has got a nice little lead over third, fourth, and fifth place, which is racing as a pack as they come back to the line. We'll sort it out. Scott Ballard on top, Brandon Collins in second. That trio close together, Ryan Cuscito and Joe Dwayne, third through fifth. Tight racing here, but it sorts itself out.
Really nice battle for P3 through 5, as you said, and it looks like turn 4 is completely okay. Debris is off the racetrack, no need for a full course caution, and we continue to race here as the field makes their way, the mid-pack anyways, makes their way through that turn 4. Groshlik off to the right side there. He has to watch the race from an awkward position here for the rest of the for the remainder of this one. But you got great battles going on up front. Scott Ballard still leading Collins. You got Ryan Kushida and Joe Dwayne going at it for P3. Side by side, though, we go side by side into turn 8, and that's going to be Brandon Collins. Brandon Collins is our new leader here in Spec Miata Race 2, Ballard P2. Then it's Ryan Kushida and Joe Dwayne.
Great job by Brandon Collins taking advantage of that position and moving into the top spot as they head down the back stretch. That battle, third through fifth, still sorting itself out. Then a big gap back to sixth place in Matt Keck.
That lead 5 cars making their way through turn 11 and approaching 13. Those on the south viewing tower. We'll get a good look at the top 5 coming past to make it lap number 4. Good battles going out throughout the field as well. Some of our closest battles involve the P11 and P12 of Hicks and Gleitzman. They're going at it nicely. We also have battles going on between Dale and Malter. And obviously you're seeing the one between Kushida, Joe Dwayne, and Ryan happen right in front of your eyes there as they make their way through turn 4.
4 laps on the board. Brandon Collins leading the way. Scott Ballard in second. Taro Cuscito, and then Joe Dwayne and Mike Ryan rounding out your top 5. And boy, we're already seeing Gleitzman up to 10th from 17th starting position. So we've seen him move up great. And how about Brandon Collins from 11th on the grid to first within the first couple of laps?
And we'll keep an eye on Gavin as well, as he's doing low 139s right away. And so that is basically the pace, faster than the pace of the people up front. So Gavin will start to cut his way through Kevin Lockridge, and then he'll have to deal with Jake Malter, Josh Dale, and Keck. That's a tall order for Gavin in the second half of the race, but he's going to start to set his sights in front of him, where the car right in front of him is going to be Kevin Lockridge right now. Kevin Lockridge knows how to drive a race car. He knows what he's doing, so that's not going to be an easy pass here. But we are going side by side through turn 12 and now heading up toward 13 for positions 3 and 4.
I think that was Taro Kushida getting the advantage there.
Kushida and Joe Dwayne.
He had posted the second best time of the day here in this heat.
Taro on the inside here.
Brandon Collins leading the way, Ballard in second. Quite a battle there for third place.
And here comes Ryan. Here comes Mike Ryan for P5, going side by side in turn 3 for P5. So, this top 5 is really, really exciting at the moment. And these positions are not likely to stay exactly as you see them right now. That's going to be a really fun battle to watch up there. But we are still side by side as we head through turn 5 with Joe Dwayne and Ryan now.
Great battle back in the pack. Meanwhile, up front, Brandon Collins has snuck away to a nice, comfortable lead, and they will take the cross flags this time by.
That was a 38.9 for Brandon Collins last lap, and he, as you just said, Dennis, is stretching out that lead nicely. So we'll let him get on with it and see if there's any battles further back in the field that are pretty exciting. You got Art Zeismer and Dave Hicks going at it, very, very close with those guys. But Josh Dale, Matt Keck, Jake Malter, this is all good battling going on in the middle of the pack.
Down that back stretch, and Brandon Collins continues to stretch out his lead up front. Still amazed he could go from 11th, winding his way through the pack that quick.
Brandon Collins, what's this, his 8th season in Spec Miata? He's raced a little over 70 races. In those 70 races, Brandon Collins has 30 wins. He's got 51 podiums in just about a little over 70 races. So, and 23 of those days started out with pole position. So Brandon Collins is not the one you want to be chasing around for the lead here in Spec Miata. He knows what he's doing. He's a 3-time champion here at Autobahn, 19, 20, and 23. And good action taking place back again. That's going to be Mike Ryan and Joe Dwayne going at it. Scott Ballard in the mix now. Excellent action taking place up front.
6 laps on the board. Brandon Collins has snuck away to a little over 2.2 second lead over Scott Ballard, with Kushida and Joe Dwayne and Ryan all in a battle.
Yeah, and as you see coming through your screen there, that's Gavin Gleitzman. He is giving Jake Malter everything he can handle. But what I didn't point out is that Kushida did actually have a change for position. He runs now in P2. That's Scott Ballard that is now having the battle between positions 3 and 4 with Joe Dwayne and Mike Ryan. And look at the lead that Brandon Collins is stretching out on the back stretch as he heads toward turn 11. His last lap, a 38.7, and he is getting on with it for sure. Good battle taking place here in what looks like P5 and 6. That's Mike Ryan and Matt Keck. And then here comes Gleitzman and Malter. Kevin Lockridge rounds out the top 10 as he makes his way, Lockridge does, through turn 13 here on South.
So 7 laps on the board, and Brandon Collins able to reach that lead out to about 2.7 seconds. Taro Kushida in second. Joe Dwayne finished lap 7 in third. Ballard, Ryan, Keck, Dale, Malter, Gleitzman, and Lockridge round out your top 10 after 7 laps on the board.
Really excited about this battle between Brandon Collins and Taro Kushida. Kushida himself, that is a 15th season. Everybody knows Taro Kushida. He's been around here forever. Talk about races, 175 races for this guy. He's won 37 times. He's got 31 pole positions, 93 podiums. Out of 174 races, Taro Kushida versus Brandon Collins is exactly what we were hoping for here on a Saturday afternoon at Autobahn.
We expected a great race with the inverted field, and we got it, but boy, oh boy, once Brandon Collins got to the lead, he's been able to step away big time on the pack, but we still have some great racing through the pack. And what it really is cool to watch, Mike, is we get these little dual battles throughout the pack that certainly keeps it exciting.
Absolutely. And Spec Miata, yeah, you're not going to be racing everybody, right? You find your battles throughout the field. And that's one of the beauties of the Spec Miata class, is that there's racing all up and down the field. If you're not battling in the top 5, there's obviously a good battle to take place between 5 and 10, or even to get yourself into the top 10. It's not an easy thing to do here in the Spec Miata class, especially with the high-level Spec Miata. Spec Miata 2 is different, but Spec Miata, a top 10 finish around this course in Spec Miata in this series is a really solid accomplishment. There's folks running around in that Spec Miata race right now that haven't seen the top 10, that they're just trying to crack into that position, and that accomplishment is a big one. So yeah, there's definitely, to your point, Dennis, there is definitely racing going on all up and down the field.
Joe Dwayne, in fact, has been able to post the best lap last time by. It won 38.4, and he gaining ground on Taro Kushida out there. So we're continuing to see some great lap times, and I'm pretty impressed that way back in the field, Gavin Gleitzman has posted some pretty slick times as well.
38.6, his last time by. That's his best time. Actually, a 39.3 his last time by, but a 38.6 is his best lap. That's every bit of what Collins and Kushida are doing. So he's doing it, and he's on the outside right now, heading down the main straight in toward turn 11, and just not in a great position to get that done. But he's right there. He's right there with Malter. He's not going to let him go. He's going to make Malter earn this keep in terms of that P9. And this is a great battle coming through turn 13 as we head past the flag station. It looks like Gavin has got a nice position here on the inside, but they'll go side by side, heading through turn 1s, 2, and 3.
Being able to hold him off there in that corner, but up front, Brandon Collins is seeing that lead start to shrink. Taro Kushida posting some good times here in Joe Dwayne in third, Scott Ballard in fourth, Ryan in fifth, and Keck, Dale, Malter, Gleitzman, and Lockridge rounding out your top 10.
That's a good battle we got going on between Gleitzman and Malter, and it looks like through turns 13 and then 1, 2, and 3, it was just better. You know, Malter just did a better sequence going through there. Gavin couldn't, make up any time, couldn't make up any space there. So they continue to follow each other very close as they head through in toward turns 10 at this point, but still Malter leading Gleitzman in a beautiful battle down there in 8 and 9. This battle for P3, though, is starting to heat up. That's John Joe Dwayne on Taro. Taro currently holds that position, P2 anyways, but they're heading through turn 13, and Joe Dwayne's going to have something to say about that.
Good close battle for second and third as they go under that flag stand. There's now just 2 laps to go. Brandon Collins lead at about 2.2 seconds. Then Kushida and Joe Dwayne right there, nose to tail for second and third. Scott Ballard about 2 seconds back in fourth place with Ryan in fifth, and that action is heating up.
And it better play out sooner than later. This is lap 11. Next time by the starter stand, they're going to get the white flag, and I'm afraid that John Joe Dwayne is running out of time, but he still has several turns to try and get this organized. 20 or so turns before we sort out the podium here in race number 2. But it looks like that P1 is solidly in the possession of Brandon Collins. His last lap, 38.7. I mean, he's really moving. 38.7. That's pretty good race pace. That's pretty good race pace on the South track. So Brandon Collins coming around here, and he will take the white flag in a few more corners. But the battle in the top 3 that we are watching right now is Kushida and Joe Dwayne. Kushida still owns P2.
Brandon Collins will see the white flag this time around and has a comfortable margin, but that battle for second heating up. Kushida and Joe Dwayne right there in each other's tire tracks. Just Joe Dwayne just trying to find an advantage there that he can get by Taro Kushida for second place, and they'll go into the corner here, making another battle. But Joe Dwayne cannot keep it on the inside to have a chance for the pass, and he'll fall back here in third. So Scott Ballard in fourth, Mike Ryan fifth, Keck, Dale, Malter, and Gleitzman now up to ninth place, and Lockridge rounds out your top 10 and what has been a very spirited battle again here in the Spec Miata class. But up front, Brandon Collins is pulling away.
He's your championship leader. Collins is. This is a big deal. The best battle in the top 5 is still Kushida and Joe Dwayne. And they still head in toward turn 8 here with less than a car length between them.
Collins, of course, the winner in that first heat as well. So he'll go back to back here if he can hold on for a couple more corners. But boy, oh boy, Taro Kishido was third in that first heat, and he's currently in second. Joe Dwayne had an 8th place finish in that first heat. So he is going to be really looking to improve his position here for that third and final heat of the day.
And Joe Dwayne is there. He is right there, giving Taro everything he can, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. It looks like Kushida is going to have enough to make his way toward the checkered flag, and he does pick up P2, and that's going to be a P3 for Joe Dwayne. It looks like Ballard comfortably takes over P4. That's Mike Ryan in 5th. Keck in 6th. Josh Dale, Jake Malter, and Gavin Gleitzman now just crossing. He's in P9. Looks like Kevin Lockridge is going to cross in P10. What a battle. Excellent racing. And we're not done. Further back into the field, that's P10 that just crossed. Here comes 11. That's Dave Hicks. And it looks like 12, 13, 14 stayed just as you saw them, but that was a nice little run toward the end there by Tom Bagley. Greg Sorg, Matt Alexander rounds it out. Sorg, Alexander, Grosslick all only logged in 1 lap. They were all out of that race. And so, yeah, that's your finishing order there. What a race. Brandon Collins, Taro Kushida, Joe Dwayne make up your podium for race number 2.
Fantastic racing, and before they get them queued up for race 3, or the second race of the day for the SM2 class, remind you to head on over there to near the member lounge, pick up some swag, pick up some new merchandise. Some new Autobound swag is featured in our apparel store located in the members lounge. Next time you're heading to the bar, make a pit stop to the merch area to grab your very own Autobahn swag. Oh my goodness, Mike, we saw a very entertaining race in that spec class.
I think that we did. Here's your top 10. Collins, Kushida, Joe Dwayne. Scott Ballard. What a really nice run from Scott Ballard. He led this race for a little while. Mike Ryan finishes P5. Matt Keck, Josh Dale, Jake Malter. That's Gavin Gleitzman out in P9, and Kevin Lockridge rounds out the top 10 for race number 2 of the Miata Triple Crown here. So, thanks for joining us as the field makes their way back into the pit lane, and the, third race is going to be decided based on the amount of points that you scored in the first 2 races. So it's going to get interesting here. And we'll go through all that. You're going to see the next race here on a live stream as well, and we'll go over that top 10 for you and explain how it all plays out and what they're shooting for after that third race. So, good work. Your winner here, Brandon Collins, your championship leader, Brandon Collins. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back soon.
An impressive run from 11th to 1st for Brandon Collins. He will take the win today. Want to thank our friends at Race Caddy and also First Bank Card Processing, making it possible for us bringing y'all the exciting action for Autobahn member racing today. And Mike, it is pretty impressive when you can run from 11th to 1st in the course of a 12-lap race, but even more impressive when Brandon Collins got it done in like the first 4 laps.
Sure did. He sure did. Like I said, this guy's won the championship here 3 times. He knows what he's doing. He won the national championship in the 944 Cup as well. So he's performed in multiple chassis. He's certainly a seasoned racer here and one of the more exciting guys to watch here at Autobahn. You know he's going to have good results. So, Brandon Collins, excellent work. And, he takes a commanding lead in the Spec Miata Championship now 4 races in.
Taro Kushida and Joe Dwayne actually were catching him at the end and making up some ground. So I think we're going to see a very, very entertaining third race today from those Spec Miata cars. And they'll be going out a little bit later on. We've got some more action coming up. The next race up will be your SM2 class. It'll be their second race of the day. And we're going to see a 10-car invert in this one. So Bill Hamill and Eric Gortner will be leading the way to green. Row 2, Noel Saxon, Bruce Malter, Connor Miklos, and John Southard in row 3. Then it's Sean Benet, Bob Reisinger. Then Eli Dessart, who put on quite a show with Connor Ryan in that first heat today, will be going off 9th and 10th. Not only will they have each other to race, but they're going to have to come up through the field as well.
Yeah, they really are, and there's a bunch of people that they're going to need to deal with who are now really settling into the Spec Miata chassis and understanding how these things work and understanding how to get these things around the track in a short amount of time. And so while I do predict that those two, Dessart and Connor Ryan, will be making their way through that field, it's not going to be handed to them for sure. It's going to be something they're going to need to work for. And yeah, I expect just as dramatic of an event here for the Spec Miata 2 class that we've been seeing in Spec Miata. Certainly, if that first race of the day in Spec Miata 2 is any indication of how this will go, it was very enjoyable to watch. That was a great battle up front for those two drivers that we just mentioned. And yeah, I'm looking forward to round 2 for those two.
We got a great chance to see Connor and Eli racing side by side, corner after corner, and they both minded their manners, both raced each other clean, both gave each other plenty of racing room, and we'll be looking forward to race 2 here coming up shortly. And just want to remind folks that are listening and watching on here, did you know that Autobahn has its very own Airbnb right here on the site? It's called the Race House. I get to stay out there later on this year. You can stay the night trackside on the Race House, which offers 3 private bedroom and bathrooms, a lounge area for great socializing, and a deck with a great view of the North Circuit. You could call Aaron for more information.
They didn't mention that there's a pool table up there? There's a pool table up there.
Oh, yeah. There's some nice game room there.
Oh,
it's a great facility.
Room to rent. Yeah, for sure.
Looking forward to that. They're nice enough to put me up there when we have our doubleheader.
Members end a lot of days up there in the race house, visiting in the commons area there. Like I said, that's the only pool table we have on the property, and so people are hanging out there having their afternoon, evening beverages, and kibitzing and really visiting on the porch there. It's a great property. You should look into it. If you need to come out to Autobahn for the weekend, look at the race house. That's where my mechanics stay if they fly in. That's where my friends stay if they're coming into the track. It's a really cool place.
A very cool place indeed. We're just about ready to see the field roll out here for...
Looks like they're giving them the 1 minute.
Race number 2, and that is your pace car that you see on the screen. A big thank you to Performance Fleet partner Lexus for providing this year's official pace car. And a limited number of VIP rides are available before the afternoon action, usually out here at Autobahn, so you can certainly enjoy that. And I actually got to see that pace car leading out an impressive array of member vehicles here on the north side, taking a tour of the track here.
Lunchtime touring,
during lunchtime.
A very popular event for people around here. But yeah, that's your top 10 from the last race there in Spec Miata, so you can review that again. And that is going to be kind of how it plays out for that last race. So what the way that they figure out the grid for the third race in the Triple Crown is you take the first 2 races and you grab your points. So you see Brandon Collins is a very easy one. Brandon Collins, 2 wins. He gets 2 points, 1 point for each win. A little further down, Greg Sorg, his finishing positions in the first 2 races total 22 points. That puts him in P10. And so as you kind of cruise through that list in anticipation of the third and final race for the Spec Miata class, have a look and just consider how that's going to play out. I just love the fact that Collins, Kushida, Joe Dwayne, Gleitzman, Malter, that top 5 is basically what the championship looks like and will probably look like going through the rest of the season. So that's going to be a really special treat for us a little bit later on this afternoon to check out that race number 3.
It's going to be pretty exciting when they take the green flag, and we're expecting that race about 2:45 this afternoon. SM2 class is up next, and hey, you don't want to miss any of the action, so follow all the social media. Like and subscribe here on the YouTube channel as well, so you can be aware of all of the upcoming races here from Autobahn. Our SM2 class will be going off next, followed by the GT race. Then we'll get to race 3 for Spec Miata, and then SM2 will round out our day. Busy afternoon of racing out here at the Autobahn Country Club.
It really is. Another treat coming up here. You're seeing the onboard that we have for the Spec Miata 2 class. That's going to be Sean Benet running around with the camera inside his car. That will be fun. It was really enjoyable to watch his in-car in race 1, where he hung out most of the time in P4 and had a beautiful battle with eventual P3 finisher Bob Reisinger. So, these onboards are a nice treat to have for those of us in the broadcast booth, and certainly those of you watching at home on YouTube. Sean Benet inside his car there. So what's this championship look like? Currently, Eli Desart in the lead for the Spec Miata 2 championship. Connor Ryan is sitting behind him, 40 points back, and just 2 points behind Connor Ryan is Bob Reisinger with 198 points in the championship up until this point. So the races that are taking place today, not each of these races counts for championship points. It's kind of one day. One day we do 3 quick sprint races, and then at the end of the day we will award the championship points for what we would call week number 4. Remember, there are 14 races in a championship here in the Spec Miata class at Autobahn. You get to drop 4 of those races. So in terms of the championship, more or less, you could theorize that it hasn't really started yet, because this is week number 4. Theoretically, you could drop all of the races from the beginning of the season, including today, and still have your 10 races in the championship that come up after today throughout the end of the season. So it's a little bit difficult to predict how this championship is going, right? But yeah, I think some of the results that we've had so far, Dennis, are giving us some indication of what this class and what this championship is going to look like.
Oh, yeah. Getting to see somebody, and I love these inverts because it really adds a little excitement to the race within the race even. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all pans out here for some of the guys that they got the 10 invert. Now, I don't know if they were guessing 10, so I don't think we saw any sandbagging in that first race here with guys that were back in the pack. But I think we're going to see Connor Ryan and the youngster Eli Dysart putting on quite a show coming up through the field. But the interesting thing is, how much does the front of the field get away from them before they sort it out and get into a position to take over those top positions again?
Yeah, and we remember that we're in Spec Miata 2, right? So the skill level here isn't quite as high as we just saw in the last race there in regular Spec Miata. So I don't know. I kind of predict that those guys that would normally be winning races, your Desart, your Ryan, those guys will make their way through the field pretty good. We're on the back straight now, led by the safety car. Cars going 2 by 2 and getting themselves organized for the green flag of race number 2 in Spec Miata 2.
And you're tuning in for the first time for Autobahn Member Racing. Remember, you can be in the driver's seat, become a member out here at Autobahn, and there's a driver academy that will teach you all you need to know about racing. And hey, we could be calling your name next time around.
All right, so the front row is going to be Hamill and Gortner, Sachs and Malter in the second row, and Miklos and John Southard in the third row as we come around the last corner there off the straight. That's turn 11, 12, and now we're going to be making our way to 13. You'll see the safety car pull off to the left, head itself into pit lane, and SM2 will get themselves a green flag. Coming up shortly.
17 SM2 class cars ready to take the green out here, and the green flag is flying, and boy, the action's already quick up.
Oh, wow, that's Southern off to the back, and it looks like action is taking place here. The 211 car, that is going to be Noel Sachs as well, so wow, it looks like John Southern and Sachs out. And Hamill loses his position. He's down to third, even fourth. It looks like that is Reisinger moving up into P3. And this field just starting to get organized as they move through the fourth turn.
Everybody minded their manners there on the first race of the day, but here we had cars going around and off course real fast in the first lap, and I see Southard's just limping it back to pit lane.
And that is the other car too. So you got both Southard and what looks like Noel Sachs both got going again. They did. It looks like at least one of those cars came into contact with the wall on the outside of turn one. So how that will play out throughout the race, we'll see if those guys are able to continue. They continued on for the moment, but we'll see if they're able to get back up to race pace as we go on board with Benet. Benet looking to make a move early here, and looks like he's going to go side by side. But yeah, action going on up front, lead change up front. Positions 1, 2, and 3 are different. We're getting it all organized with, but it looks like right now this race is being led by Kortner, and it looks like Reisinger in P2. They're all going to come past the line here, and we're going to get organized here shortly.
First lap on the board, and we will stay green. Eric Gortner leading the way. Bob Reisinger up to second. Connor Ryan already up to third, and Eli Dysart right on his tail in fourth place. Bruce Malter is fifth. Connor Miklos, Bill Hamill, Sean Benet, Dave Martinelli, and David Martinelli rounding out your top 10. But already our big battle from the first race of the day, Connor Ryan and Eli Dysart starting 9th and 10th in this race, already up to third and fourth.
One lap. It took them all of one lap to sort themselves through the field. And now Benet has himself a battle going on where he is side by side. Looks like Hamill in front of him. And Benet is going to try to make a move on Hamill as he heads into turn 8. Let's see if he goes toward to the inside. No, he stays on line, and Benet will file in P8 right behind the number 9 car, Bill Hamill. It looks like there's been a little bit of a change up front. Is that Reisinger now leading this race? Is this what we want to say live over a microphone? Bob Reisinger is leading a Spec Miata 2 race. Is that possible? It looks like he is heading in toward turn 11. All over the back of him is Connor Ryan, and all over the back of Ryan is Eli Dysart.
Action hot and heavy here at Autobahn, and we missed that pass for the lead, but we were enjoying that battle back in the pack for 7th place. They'll come back to the line and get it all sorted out. Bob Reisinger leading the way.
Oh, side by side. They went side by side now. That's going to be it for Reisinger as Connor goes down to the inside and looks like he's got a good position in a 2, and he's going to be ahead in turn 3. No problem there. Reisinger might get collected in P3 as well, so he's side by side now into turn 4. Yeah, it didn't really work out. That's going to be Eli Dysart taking over P2.
We saw our leaders from that first heat make quick work of this field, working up from the 9th and 10th position. And back on top, Connor Ryan, Eli Dysart, and Bob Reisinger back now to third place. Bruce Malter, Connor Miklos round out your top 5, but an impressive run to the front by Connor Ryan.
Just had a conversation with Bob Reisinger in the lunchroom before this race, talking about what it's possible to accomplish, and we talked about whether or not he could actually race with Connor Ryan and Eli Dysart. And at the moment, those guys are about a half second a lap quicker than Reisinger. And so there was a little bit of an understanding as he and I had this conversation that, hey, man, you might want to be hanging out in P3 and running around while these guys battle up front, because Ryan and Dysart are going to be going at it. They're running very similar lap times, and if what usually happens when cars get next to each other, corner after corner, lap after lap, Reisinger could be in the catbird seat to pick up the pieces after all the crying is said and done between Ryan and Dysart. So what a great battle here at the front, and it's like a repeat from race 1. And what a treat for us.
3 laps on the board. Connor Ryan up front in that 119. Eli Dysart in second. Bob Reisinger in third. Fourth place, 4th, 5th, and 6th trying to sort themselves out between Bruce Malter, Connor Miklos, and Eric Gortner. Sean Benet back up into that 7th spot. Bill Hamill, David Martinelli, and Adam Lavelle.
And Benet is giving Gortner everything that he could handle as we go on board with Benet in a really nice battle there as they head in toward turn 6 here on the south track. And Benet looks like he might have a run as we go through turn 7 and approach turn 8 on the south. We'll stay on board with Benet for a little bit of drama there. That's Eric Gortner out his window there, and it looks like Benet's going to stay on the line and not ready quite yet to execute this pass. But great action taking place here. Benet is on the correct line. It looks like Gortner getting a little bit wide. He's looking at his mirrors. He's missing apexes, and he's really just trying to hold that P6 right now. And I don't know. Benet looks a little tidier at the moment, and that battle is just going to continue to brew for a little while. Looks like we're almost going side by side. A little bit behind them is that Martinelli and Lavelle. So good racing throughout the pack here, and nothing has changed up front, where we still have Connor Ryan, Eli Dysart, and P3 of Bob Reisinger.
Eli Dysart is trying to reel in your leader, Connor Ryan, though. Just 5/10 of a second here at the line, and he has gained on him through the first few corners of this lap number 5. Reisinger in third, Malter fourth, Miklos in fifth. Those first 5 have sorted themselves out, then gets a little bit dicey again.
He did it.
And Benet puts Gortner away.
Makes it happen. You guys missed it on the South Tower there, but it looks like that turn took place in turn 4, and Benet goes ahead and dispatches Eric Gortner and picks up that P6.
Just wore him down.
Yep.
Just was right in his tire tracks, wore him down, and a nice, clean pass for the lead that you got to see live here on Autobahn Member Racing.
And clear air in front of Benet. No real pressure. He's just going to kind of settle in and see if he can't start to collect the top 5 here. But he's still a little bit out of position to consider a top 5 at the moment. Sean Benet is, but good racing continues up front. No changes. And this whole field is really kind of starting to settle in. What are the lap times looking like? 39.6. They're doing about mid-39s or so, low 40s for the rest of the field, but the top 3 are in the 39s.
While Benet and Gortner were going at it, those top 5 snuck away by about 4 seconds on them, but Benet's quickly making up that ground. We're seeing 5 laps on the board now. Connor Ryan, Eli Dysart still 1, 2 and close at each other's heels. Bob Reisinger in third place, about 2.3 seconds back. Then it's another 2.5 seconds back to Bruce Malter in fourth, Connor Miklos in fifth, and about a 5-second lead over sixth place and Sean Benet. But now that Benet has open racetrack, I think he's going to close that gap.
My friend Bob Reisinger down there in P3 needs to just keep his head down, not worry about what's going on in his mirrors, not worry about what's going on in front of him, and just do 6 1-minute 40s or 1-minute 39s or whatever it is that he knows he can do. But, yeah, that sitting behind the driver's seat for 25 minutes at a time, trying to put down 139s, is not the easiest thing to do when everybody's trying to get by you. So we'll watch him, who picked up his first, Bob did, his first podium in the last race. That's his first podium ever here in auto racing at all. And so he is positioning himself very, very keenly to pick up a second podium if he can just keep it all together there. That's Bruce Malter behind him in P4. And then Miklos rounds out the top 5. So right now, no really tight battles taking place throughout the field. In fact, as we go up and down the field, the tightest one we have, I think at the moment, is between P1 and 2, to be honest. But a second and a half between Ryan and Dysart. But everybody else is starting to stretch out a little bit.
We're halfway home in race number 2 for the SM2 class, and our top 3 are the top 3 from race 1. So they were able to race their way up through that invert of 10. Connor Ryan, Eli Dysart, and Bob Reisinger having the best days they could possibly want with the first, second, and third in the first race, and again here so far at the halfway point in race number 2.
Looks like a good battle going on between Lavelle, Schilling, and Schermenti. As we make our way further down in the pack a little bit. That's a pretty good battle, those 3. A little bit of a battle there between Martinelli and Hamill as well. But, yeah, for the moment, we're really checking out Ryan and Dysart as the closest battle, although there is side-by-side a little bit deeper into the field there as they head into 10. And that looks like it might have been a position change. Or they go side by side. That's Southard. We see his distinctive car. And it looks like the one in front of him. Is that Matt? Might be Kopecky. Not totally sure. Trying to get that organized as well. We've finished 7 laps. We're almost done with 8 as we come around turn 13. And just a few more to go. Hamill blasting by your screen there. Just put down a 43.9. This is his latest tour.
Sean Benet, with that open track ahead of him, just posted his best lap of the race at a 141 flat. Meanwhile, up front, Connor Ryan clipping off laps at 139.9. So while Benet will not be able to catch your leaders at this pace, he is making a little bit of ground up on Connor Miklos, only about 4 seconds back, and they'll have 4 laps to go when they come by the start-finish line the next time.
Yeah, that was a little bit of an onboard there from Benet as he made his way through patience and now onto the back straight. But, yeah, sitting comfortably in P6 and not really sure if he's going to be able to improve from there. But we do have about 5 more laps to go. So we'll watch that battle. But, yeah, you're looking at it. Top 3. That's Reisinger coming across. His last time, his fastest of the race, that was a 39.2. Good job for Reisinger. Ryan and Dysart, both of their last laps at a 39.4 and a 39.6.
Eli Dysart able to take about a quarter second off that lead, and now only 7/10 back, and it looks even shorter now on the track. So we're heating up front between Connor Ryan and Eli Dysart. They put on a great show in round one. In round two, again, they're back up front and putting on another good show, and Dysart starting to reel them in.
Really enjoying watching this battle. As they make their way in toward turn 8, that is, sometimes you're not going side by side the entire time, but you're trying to make some headway on the guy in front of you, and you're doing identical lap times. It's like nothing really happens in your windshield, and that's a very difficult thing. You feel like you're trying the best you can. You're making the greatest effort. You're hitting the braking points as deep as you can go, and you're getting your turn-ins just right, and you're just not making any headway at all. You're just matching the fella in front of you. So it's definitely a frustrating, frustrating chassis and a class to be a part of, but man, is the racing close, and it's so exciting. Instead of waiting for somebody to do something really special, I think, Dennis, you're waiting for somebody to make a mistake.
9 laps on the board. Connor Ryan completes that lap on top, but that lead down to just 0.4 of a second over Eli Dysart. And Bob Reisinger is putting lap after lap pretty consistent around the 139.7, 139.8s, and he's been able to claw his way back to within 2.8 seconds, and he has a nice, comfortable gap over 4th place. But up front, we've got a battle.
Reisinger's got a 6-second lead on Malter. That's going to be very comfortable. That's going to put his mind at ease. Having somebody right under your bumper is a very difficult thing to cope with, but 6 seconds all day long. That's not going to be a problem until Malter is able to put down a little bit of a better lap time here. But yeah, we're looking at these guys through our beautiful drone shot. I suspect this is Connor Cunningham sending us this excellent picture here. Is all 3 cars in the top 3 make their way onto the back straight down toward turn 11, with Connor Ryan in the lead by 0.4 of a second, and Reisinger 2.5 seconds behind them as they go through 11 and now 12. Turn 13 is behind the trees here, and Connor Ryan will be starting lap number 11. Lap number 10. Lap 11. Lap 10. What lap is he starting here, Dennis?
2 laps to go as they head into lap number 11. And Dysart within just a couple of tenths there as they went under the start-finish line. But now quickly reeling in our leader, Connor Ryan. Eli Dysart does not want to let this one go.
No, he didn't. He just took a tenth out of that lead. It was only 0.4 of a lead. Now it's 2.5 tenths, and this is going to be dramatic. We're going to have a good 3.5 minutes of racing here to round out race number 2 in the Triple Crown here. But currently, Connor Ryan, as he makes his way past his own residence there off the left side of the track, still holds a 0.4 of a second lead, 0.3 or so.
I'm wondering how much Connor Ryan is just trying to save a little bit, or whether Eli Dysart has a little better car right now here with just about a lap and a half to go. Connor Ryan able to lengthen that lead out. Dysart had it within a couple of car lengths, and now Ryan trying to get a little bit away, but Dysart coming again at him on the backstretch.
I always wonder that myself, Dennis. How much effort are they going to put into this pass? Are they going to really use up some tires to try to make this happen? Or are they going to settle in and be like, hey, look, this is a long championship. This is a long day. I'm just going to grab P2 here. But I'm almost guessing that if I was in Eli Dysart's head, he's not caring about the tires at all as they take the white flag there. I bet he's going to cook these things in the last lap.
I think the racer mentality, Mike, they want to win right now. And Connor Ryan holding that lead and was able to actually lengthen it out. But Eli Dysart again getting the old fishing pole out and reeling them in. Meanwhile, back in third place, Bob Reisinger saying, "Whew, I got a nice gap in front of me and behind me," and we're on board watching Sean Benet take the track here on his final lap.
As he makes his way through turn one. Great drone shots, too, by Connor Cunningham, watching that battle up front as they head through turn 6 and 7. Wow, what a great shot and what a great race that these two are having. I mean, there is really nothing between them. Nothing between them at all. This is just a matter of circumstance. Either racer can win this race. Right now, Connor Ryan in the catbird seat.
Connor Ryan will lead the way. Eli Dysart trying one more time to try to reel him in, but it will be Connor Ryan holding him off. Dysart making one more run here.
Dysart got to run. He's looking to the inside. Now they're both going to go to the outside. Does Dysart stay toward the middle? Yes, he does. They're side by side heading through 11, but Connor comes out on the on the lead here, and as he approaches turn 13, it's Connor Ryan.
They gave us a great show in race one. They're giving us another great show in round two. Dysart tried to make the move, could not make it stick, and Connor Ryan will take the second race of the day here for the SM2 class. Eli Dysart coming home in second. That youngster putting on a show. Very impressive today. Bob Reisinger will hang on for third place again. So another podium finish for Bob. Bruce Malter will come in fourth place. He was 15.6 seconds back from your winner, but just close on his heels was Connor Miklos, rounding out your top five. In sixth place, Sean Benet taking that car home after giving us a great view with the in-car camera all race. Eric Gortner will finish in seventh. Then it's David Martinelli back in eighth place. He was 40 seconds behind your leader, but finishes eighth. Adam Lavelle coming home ninth, and Bill Hamill rounding out your top 10. The rest of the field, Dan Tremeni in 11th. Tim Miller finishes 12th. Dean Schilling takes the checkered flag in 13th. Randy Cochran, Noel Sachs in 15th. Here comes Tim Milne to the line in 16th. And Matt Kopecki will round out your 17th car that finished this race. John Southard finishing 18th after that contact on lap one, and he was unable to continue. But up front, we saw another great race, and Connor Ryan taking home the win, his second of the day.
That's a big deal. Remember, we started this broadcast talking about the championship standings in Spec Miata 2, where Eli Dysart has a 40-point lead. He has 240 points to Connor Ryan's 200 points. Bob Reisinger 2 points behind them at 198 in P3 for the overall championship. So, how this day works out is going to be a big deal. You got Dysart and Ryan battling for this, for the top honors here in the championship. One of these guys is going for Rookie of the Year as well. So there's a lot on the table to be excited about. But there's your top 10. Ryan Dysart, that's your P1 and 2. Reisinger rounds out your podium for the second race of the Triple Crown. Malter in fourth. Miklos Bennett, Gortner, Martinelli, Lavelle, and Hamill round out the top 10 in SM2. But we're not done. No, we're not done. Autobahn presents the GT Series. This is week number 3 in the GT class, and this is a fan favorite class. It's where you get to see the heavy hardware that most people are excited about at Autobahn. The big GT 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 cars. Great racing usually in this series, and today is expected to be no different. So very excited about our first GT class race of the day, and our only one. of the day. They do not participate in the Triple Crown. That's more of a Spec Miata thing, but we are excited to get the GT series going. And your top 5 in GT right now, GT1, Bakerly. Tony Bakerly's driving around that Porsche Cup car. That's a beauty. Mark Bowden in GT2. He is leading that class. Val and Sean in GT3 and 4. Really familiar positions for those two. And another familiar position in GT5 is Tony Kester leading that group. So, very common, usual names in the GT series and usual looking grid here, Dennis.
So we'll have 12 cars lining up for your GT race. They will go 22 laps today. And just to give you an idea of what we got one GT1 car. We have 3 in the GT2 class. We have 2 in the GT3 class. We have 4 in the GT4 class and 2 in the GT5 class. Your top qualifier today, and I'm not surprised, Mark Bowden put on a good show with a 1:27.39 for his best time of the day. Valdez Guerrillas is second on the grid. Roy Lipner, Bob Nurian in third and fourth. Britt Casey, Sean Venkavicius, Tony Kester, Tony Diarbakarli in that beautiful GT1 class car is eighth. In ninth, on your starting grid, Mike Keck, Kirk Cordell in 10th, Scott Benning Sr. and Julie Riggin round out your 12 cars. We'll take the green here for the GT class out at Autobahn.
Always an exciting class. Looks like Bowden is driving around that Mercedes GT3 race car. That is a beauty with the fall line livery. Loving that car. Saw that cruising through the paddock and had to stop and take a little picture there, Dennis. That's a beauty. But you've seen some pretty cool heavy hardware in this race. We usually do. Sometimes we'll see the latest and greatest Porsche Cup cars out here. Sometimes we'll see Ferrari Challenge cars out here, but you'll definitely always see some Porsche Caymans and some BMW, M2s and some really cool stuff. But even a Mustang every now and again. So, excited to see how this plays out. But, week number 3. Week number 3 in the GT class.
Many years ago, I had the opportunity to do some work with Mark Bowden's drivers in IMSA when he was in the old WeatherTech series back in the day, and got a great picture of Mark kissing the bricks at Indy. Neat. So I know that was one of the highlights of his career, but those fall line motorsports cars always looking so beautiful out here at Autobahn.
Top Shop Fall Line Motorsports. They participate nationally as well. A lot of Autobahn members all over the country running Porsche Cup, running Mercedes, running BMWs. That is a high level race shop located right here at Autobahn. One more pace lap for the GT class before we get this race going. How many laps? How many laps we got going on here?
22.
22 laps. It's a regular GT race. That's usually the race distance that you'll see on the South Track. You'll notice from our earlier action in this very broadcast, the Spec Miata races are only 12 laps. Normally, the Spec Miata races are about 20 laps, sometimes 22 laps. But with that Triple Crown format that we got going on, those are all shortened sprint sort of 20-minute, let's do this type of laps. And the GT class not doing that same format. This is just a regular race, 22 laps on the South Track. And again, this is week number 3 in the GT class series.
Yeah, before we take the green flag, just want to remind folks that this is not just a racetrack out here. Autobahn Country Club, a fully outfitted event venue featuring exciting ride and drive programs, comfortable meeting and exposition exhibition space. Got to get my dentures fixed. A challenging kart circuit. I love the karting track out here. And a talented hospitality team ready to prepare top-notch cuisine for your next event. Contact Ron for more information.
Yeah, we might as well hit the driver academy as well. From learning the fundamentals of handling your vehicle to pushing boundaries and hitting exhilarating speeds, achieve your driving goals, your specific driving goals with Autobahn's comprehensive driver academy programs tailored for enthusiasts at every level. See Andrew in the Autobahn Driver Academy office to learn more. As the GT class gets organized on the back stretch, they'll go into rows, they'll go side by side. And as the pace car comes through turn 12 and eventually off of the racetrack, Bowden will take the green flag here on the South Track.
Side by side, coming out of the final corner. Flagman has that green flag.
Shot. Excellent drone shot.
Beautiful picture.
Oh, so cool.
Mark Bowden takes the green flag.
No problem for Bowden.
Moves away quickly.
He gets wide. That's Bakerly. Oh, my goodness. Bakerly off in the left side just before turn 1. It looks like he has had contact with the wall and obviously another car. We didn't exactly see how that played out, but we'll go to the replay and check it out as we go 2x2, too wide almost through turn 4. But otherwise, Bowden starts out with a stretch in its leg here. That Mercedes is well in front of the field at the moment. Looks like Norian in P2.
Mark Bowden got off to a quick start, and he has run away from this field about a 12 car length advantage already, and he had the fastest time by about 2 seconds in qualifying. I expect him to lead the way today.
And that's Bakerly getting it going. He was able to get that 997 Cup car going from turn 1, and whether he'll make it around the track and into the pits, but it did look like he had damage as you see Bowden just pedal to the metal. And that big Mercedes GT is going to be very difficult to keep up with. You see Norian heading around turn 12, and they both come through turn 13 and make their way onto the front straight.
Mark Bowden continuing to lengthen out that lead as he comes under the scoring stand, and Bakerly is going to do...
Bakerly just heads off.
He's going to park that one. There was some front damage that I don't think he was going to be able to continue at speed. So after one lap, Mark Bowden with a little over 2 second lead. Bob Noonan in second place overall, but first in the GT3 class. Roy Lipner in third. Valdis Garelius in fourth. Britt Casey in fifth. Sean Venkovicius in sixth place. But that is the lead car in the GT4 class. Then Tony Kester in seventh. Scott Benning Sr., Mike Keck, and Kirk Cordell round out your top 10. But up front, Mark Bowden just continues to lengthen that lead.
Norian's currently got a 4-second lead on Val in the GT3 class. Right now, Norian and Val doing 135s or thereabouts. That'll be a good race between those two to watch out for. Right behind them is Britt Casey, Sr., in that beautiful BMW that he laps. And so he sits currently in P6 running around at about a 136.4. But you can see the lead that Bowden's pulling out, and we can hear it in our headphones here, that deep V8 sounding Mercedes AMG making its way around turns 1, 2, and now 3. And that lead is up to, 4 seconds or so, and climbing. The rest of the field looks like they're single file and just starting to settle into, again, what we call a 22-lap race. We just finished lap number 2. So, about 19 to go. And things starting to settle in.
Some good battles back in the pack, and we're seeing some inter-class battles, I guess you could say. Tony Kester in a GT5 giving Sean Venkavicius all he can handle in his GT4. So they're 6th and 7th on the track, but that's the leader in GT5. Tony Kester running 7th overall.
Not a big gap though between Sean and Benning in the GT4 class. So that is definitely, like you said there, Dennis. That's going to be a good battle to watch there. Sean B and Scott Benning Sr. in that GT4 class is going to be interesting. You got Keck in GT5 currently leading there. No, I said that wrong. Kester, of course, is leading. All right, Kester's leading GT5. But Keck right behind, and really it looks like about a 6-second gap there.
Up front, Mark Bowden in a different zip code, already up by over 7.5 seconds over Bob Nurian. But Bob leading the way in that GT3 class. Roy Lipner, 3rd overall in your 2nd place car in GT2, is another 3 seconds back. Then Val G in 4th, but he is your 2nd place car in GT3. Then Britt Casey running 5th, but he's already over 12 seconds behind your leader, Mark Bowden. Mark Bowden's just checked out on this field, out for a nice little Sunday drive on a Saturday.
Loving that car that Britt Casey's driving. Britt Casey's been running around in the GT class for, I want to say 15 years. 15 years. Britt's got 50 races, 50 or so races under his belt. So, he's always fun one to watch out. Watch out there, and that beautiful BMW that he's driving is a class act. When that thing first arrived here at Autobahn, we were crawling all over that thing, having a look at that special M car. So always a fun machine to see lap here at Autobahn, and a top quality racer as well behind the wheel of that one. In fact, that whole family there, including Junior, have made their mark here at Autobahn. Professional racing for Junior, instructing, just a well-participating family here at Autobahn, the Caseys. But we still got Bowden out front with a 12-second lead.
Mike, I'm impressed because Bowden's putting down laps now that are about 0.8 of a second faster than he qualified at, and has that lead out over 12 seconds over Bob Nurian. Roy Lipner in 3rd, with Val G running in 4th. Britt Casey rounded out your top 5. Looking at the class leaders, of course, Mark Bowden leading in GT2. We won't have a finisher in GT1 today. Tony Kelly going out there on that first lap.
After he crashed.
So he will. He's your only GT1 car. In GT3, Bob Nurian is leading the way. In GT4, it's Sean Venkavicius, who's in 6th place overall, but you're first in that GT4 class. And then Tony Kester running 5th or 7th overall, but is your first place car in GT5 as they come under to take the finish lap 5. And Mark Bowden has now lengthened that lead out to 16 seconds, and again posts his fastest lap of the race for the 5th lap in a row. He just continues to put down sterling laps out here at Autobahn.
What Bowden just do, a 26.3? Jeez.
Yeah.
That really is hauling the mail. And unfortunately for Baker Lee, as he hit the wall here in turn 1, he does not get points in this race, as the rule here at Audubon Country Club member racing is you got to go half distance in order to collect any championship points. And since he did not do that, Bakerly doesn't even really get credit for taking what was otherwise handed to him, a win. So to really talk about that, as you see Norian blast through turn 13, to really talk about that Bakerly thing, that's a situation. So I don't know how deep the GT1 class is going to be for the championship, but this was supposed to be, hey, look, show up at Audubon today, Dennis, for Bakerly. Show up at Audubon, run the race, collect your 100 points for the win, and have dinner at night and go home. Well, a first lap, first corner incident throws that whole situation in the garbage, and really he, now gets nothing. So, tough situation for Bakerly.
6 laps on the board. Mark Bowden has lengthened that lead out to 20 seconds now, but hey, he's kind of easing back. He was 4/10 slower that time around, but still posting a lap that was a second faster, almost a second faster than his qualifying lap. Bob Norian continues in second, then a gap of 4 more seconds back finds the pair of Roy Lipner and Valdez Corrales third and fourth, and in quite a tight battle right now. But up front, it's all Mark Bowden.
Enjoying watching Norian in GT3. Another longtime member, longtime racer, 15-plus seasons, maybe 16 seasons now. This year for Bob Norian, who just put down a 130.3 in his Porsche. Always fun to watch him, and he has a commanding lead at the moment of about 4, maybe 5 seconds on that GT3 class. Norian, again, been around the property forever. Participated in, in different classes between GT3, GT4, GT5, has run 80-plus races here. So Norian, a regular throughout the middle of the week, practicing, and then on the weekends in the races, he is an absolute fixture here in the GT class and at Audubon. So, Bob Norian, really enjoyable to watch him circle around the property here in P1 in GT3.
He qualified fourth, and he's putting out on lap times during the race that are pretty close to his qualifying time now, and he's up to second place overall. But up front, Mark Bowden just continuing to lead the way, 8 laps on the board, and he has a insurmountable lead at this point.
Yeah. Back to Norian and Val, like that, you're totally right about that, Dennis, where Val qualified 0.8 in front of Norian, so over 1 lap. Those two will probably sit at the bar and talk about, hey, I got you over 1 lap. But in the race here, right now, Norian's in the position he wants to be, leading, and just put down his fast lap of the race at a 1:30.1.
And he'll have bragging rights because his best lap is about a half a second faster than Val right now.
Mm-hmm. Both of those guys lapping a few tenths off of their qualifying times, but pretty darn close, generally, as you see Norian heading through the frame right now. Looks like a good battle going on for overall P3 as these guys come banging through turns 6 and 7 toward the southernmost tip of the racing track. And they pretty much head in toward Patience, line astern, nose to tail. All 3 of these guys, Lipner, Val, Britt, all going at it. And they're all basically, except for Lipner and Casey, Val's in GT3, Roy's in GT2, Britt Casey in GT2 as well.
That's a battle for second and third on the track between Lipner and Casey for second in GT2 class. But Casey has that car of Gorillaz in between him and Lipner to be able to grab that spot, but they are putting on the best show on the track right now. Nose to tail, third, fourth, and fifth on the track right now. But up front, Mark Bowden continues to be in that other zip code. I think he's in Manhattan and the rest of them are in Joliet right now.
Why is there not an onboard on Mark Bowden's Mercedes? Oh, man, would I like to see what is going on in the cockpit of that car. And that'll be a fun one. Those of you on the South Tower or whatever, if you're interested in that car, by all means, go over to Fall Line. Maybe it'll be sitting in the paddock. Have a look at that thing. It is a beautiful race car, and one well worth your time to have a look at.
Getting a battle for second overall on the track now. Bob Nurian has fallen back into the grips of Roy Lipner, and 3, 4, and 5 now are second, third, and fourth as Lipner, Gorilius, and Casey roll on by Bob Nurian.
I love lapped traffic. I love when that becomes a case. It looks like that was Julie Riggin there in GT4 that they had to negotiate through patience. And that's always very exciting because lap traffic is one of those variables, Dennis, that really could, throw a race or throw a situation up in the air. And so, that's definitely a deal. And you can see that Bowden is circulating so quickly here. He is coming up on lapped traffic as well. So. This is really a nice performance from Mark, and as he circulates around in the mid 126s or so.
Yeah, I misidentified that car in second place. It's still Nurian, but boy, Lipner, Gorilius, and Casey in third through fifth. But up front, Mark Bowden putting on quite the performance, and we'll see as he heads under the starter stand. He was up by 32.8 seconds right now. Bob Nurian in second, but Roy Lipner, Gorilius, and Casey have gained and closed down that gap to second place Bob Nurian.
And the gap for Bowden to P2 in his own class is currently 39 seconds. So it's not just that he's leading everybody. He's leading everybody by a fair amount, including his own classmates, as it were. A little bit wide there on the exit of turn 11, and that is going to be a change for position on track. And so as cars come around turn 13, you're going to see the new order of our 3, 4, and 5 cars. That's Lipner, Casey, and Val. Casey overtakes Val in that last corner, and that was mostly a mistake on the part of Val as he got a little bit deep in that braking zone, went a little bit wide, and Britt just drove on through there. But no other dramas. They didn't get close to each other, no touching, no bumping, anything like that, just a little bit of a mistake in the braking zone by Val, and his GT3 car now falls. It's going to be several seconds now, almost 10 seconds, 11 seconds behind second place, or rather leader Bob Nurian, class leader Bob Nurian. There is your leader right there, Bob.
Up front at the halfway point, it was Mark Bowden. Bob Nurian in second place overall, but first in that GT3 class. Roy Lipner in third place. But boy, oh boy, Mark Bowden has just run away from this field, and the only mystery now is how many cars he laps here before the end of the race.
Frankly, with Bowden, they're calling that a GT2 car. I would imagine that the GT1 cars, which in this case sometimes we see the latest and greatest Porsche Cup, maybe a 992 Porsche Cup car that might be a GT1 car. I think Mark Bowden would give GT1 an issue, would certainly be in that race overall to go against the GT1 cars. So that's an interesting thing. As you see Bowden trying to make his way through some lap traffic there, he's going to be able to dispatch this BMW here as soon as he gets on the straight. That AMG is going to go full song and pass that Beamer like it doesn't really exist. Yeah, that's a done deal. Gone. And there goes that blue streak of a Mercedes in toward turn 11. Big lead for Bowden. He's got a 42-second lead on his class and a 38-second lead on the overall race at the moment. Bob Norian sitting in P2 on the racetrack, but in P1 overall in GT3.
13 laps on the board, and I believe there are only 9 cars that he has not lapped now after just past the halfway point here with lap 13 on the board. Still waiting for Bob Norian to finish his 13th lap of the around the circuit here and see just how much that lead has widened out. But Mark Bowden continues to lead up front. Of course, a great place to watch a lot of the action out here and enjoy your time on a beautiful day like today is the old Second South Deck. You can head on out there, and big thanks to Old Second for providing a cool, comfortable place to cheer on the Member Racing Series. And, of course, as you're watching the coverage out here from Autobahn Member Racing, wouldn't you want to have a billboard out here to reach these members? The best way to stay in front of our members is by featuring your logo on an Autobahn billboard. There's one left on the South Turn, or the South Turn 1 billboard is remaining, but they've got plenty of other ways for you to expose your brand to our 540 member families. You can contact Ron for more information. And up front, Mark Bowden continuing to lead the way here in the GT class with 8 laps remaining.
Bowden's got a 40-second lead, which, if you ask me, I'm a racer myself, 40 seconds is the worst lead in racing. What do you think? 40 seconds? If I have a 40-second lead, that's when I start to lose my mind and think about other things other than driving the race car. So I suspect that, I don't know, there's a possibility that Bowden just gets too comfortable up there as we have a little bit of a battle heading in toward turn 11. That's those 3 that we keep talking about, Lipner, Casey, and Val, just going at it as they come through 13 and out of the main straight here for all of our guests in the South Tower to watch. Great battle between on-track positions 3, 4, and 5.
Only 5 cars right now on the lead lap with Mark Bowden up there by about 42 seconds. But that battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th on track is quite an impressive one with Roy Lipner, Britt Casey, and Valdez Gorelius holding down those positions. And Val G in 5th place is the 2nd place car in the GT3 class, Bob Nurian, with a comfortable lead in his class right now. But up front, it's been all Mark Bowden. But we'll continue to cover this great race and back in the pack. 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Lipner with 3rd position. Casey trying to find a way around him here as they continue to race nose to tail.
Maybe it happens here. Casey looking to mount a little bit of a run on the back straight as they head out of that Patience Complex. And Casey to the outside, Lipner to the inside. That's an interesting drag race there. Lipner's going to hold on to that position, but he was in a bad line, and that now actually opens up the door for P5, and Val is just waiting for these two to come to blows or have some sort of incident that throws them off track that could be beneficial to Val. But at the moment, Britt Casey is looking in his mirrors. He's looking out the front windshield. He's trying to conduct a pass. He's trying to defend positions. So, this is the most interesting, the most dramatic battle that we have on track at the moment, and it is just passed by the South Tower there as they go through turn 3, the high-speed left-hander here. And Casey looks to the inside at 4. That's going to force Lipner a little bit wide. They're both compromised, heading into 4 and now 5. Val will just wait until the opportune moment. It looks like Casey's a little bit wide, a better line through 6 as they approach 7. And Casey's BMW is going to have a little bit of a run here in toward 8. Is it enough? It isn't. So he stays in line. And we'll go do this again through the Patience Complex. Lipner, Casey, Val.
Lipner and Casey continuing nose to tail. Val's kind of dropped back a couple of car lengths to let these two battle in the meantime as we head down the back stretch. And Casey looking under Lipner.
Another big drag race. That BMW's got some power. That BMW definitely has some power there. It looks like his car might be a touch newer. I don't know if they're exactly the same. Lipner and Casey's car. But this is quite the battle. This is quite the battle for P2 in class between Casey and Lipner.
Now as Lipner pulls away by a car length, Val closes in on the back of Casey. 3, 4, and 5, lap after lap, nose to tail, and they're putting on a show.
Yeah, those cars that Casey and Lipner are driving look identical to me, and it is so fun to watch these guys who are lapping around basically at the same lap time, a 30 and a half. They both did 30 and a halves last time around, and they're just matching each other. And so, not really too much of a need to describe it. All of the action is taking place right in front of your eyes. Great camera work here. Loving our drone shots. And thanks to Josh Hardy today for running those. But it looks like Casey to the inside. Are you kidding me? It didn't work out, and that's compromised Casey as they head into turn 9. It looks like Casey could have a situation there with Val all over the back of him. But as they go through 10, it looks like they come out the way that they went in. So, wow, a little bit of drama as they enter Patience. And as it turns out, nothing when they get down and finally get themselves onto the straight. But Casey is definitely giving Lipner a little bit of a pull down that back straight. And it just isn't working out. You can't really parlay it, but they're going to go side by side here now. That's Val and Casey through turn 13. Wow, excellent battle here for 3, 4, and 5.
5 laps to go, and we're going to continue showing the best race on the track. Roy Lipner holding the way in 3rd place overall, and 2nd in GT2. Val just let one tire slip off the pavement, and he'll lose about 5 car lengths. But Lipner and Casey still nose to tail around this beautiful course here at Autobahn.
And don't forget, Val is not in a GT2 car. That white BMW at the end of this 3-car train is a GT3 car, right? So he is basically battling Bob Norian, who's like 20-something seconds up the road. So it looks like a position is been lost there by Britt Casey, who makes it a little bit wide there, heading in down toward turn 8. And that's going to do it for that battle. What a great battle, but it looks like it's come to an end. And Lipner is going to come out on top of this one. Casey is back on track, but he's a good 6 or 7 seconds back. He went off at turn 8 in that right turn and just couldn't keep control of the machine at that moment. And unfortunately, that's going to drop him out of real proper contention for P2 in GT2.
Lipner and Casey were going at it lap after lap, corner after corner, and you knew something had to give. And it ended up being Britt Casey going off track, but managing to keep it going straight. He lost a lot of position, but he's still in the hunt there, back in 5th. And now we got Val G looking under Lipner for position here on the track. That's the battle for 3rd.
And I don't know if Bowden's going to catch these cars in front of him, but if he does, that's one less lap of racing for this battle right here. This isn't really a class battle that you're seeing in the middle of the screen there. That's Casey coming through now. He's going to try to get involved in that battle. That's Bowden, who is getting ready to lap all of them. And if he does lap all of them, again, they will lose a lap of racing, these guys here. These guys aren't racing each other. They're racing overall, but generally that is a great battle going on. Everybody wave got a little shot of the south tower there, of the south patio, where everybody's watching this Saturday action take place here at Autobahn.
Lap 19 on the board for Mark Bowden, and he's still going around this course at qualifying speed, not as fast as lap of the afternoon, but still posted a healthy 127.5, his best lap of the day here in this race, 126.3, which was a full second better than his qualifying performance out here. And Bob Nurian continuing to cycle the track in second. Roy Lipner and Val G battling still for third.
Can we talk a little bit more about Casey and his recovery in this last lap, where he's just laid down his fastest time of the race at a 130.3? It doesn't look like he's right back at the back of that train. He is right back in this situation now. The car that he's racing is two vehicles in front of him. It's the black car, not the white car. And so he's going to really need Val to, I don't know, maybe be a good guy here and just step out of the way so that these guys can kind of go at it in the last couple of laps. But we'll see how that plays out. Bowden right behind them, threatening to lap these guys. If he passes them on the main straight again, remember, we're going to be looking at our last lap.
Mark Bowden attempting to lap the field out here today at Autobahn. 20 laps on the board for him. And coming down to the final laps. But boy, oh boy, we're still seeing quite a battle with third, fourth, and fifth.
But you're also seeing Bowden be very polite here. It looks like if Bowden just chills out, which he will probably let them do, that's going to be another lap of racing for these guys. So if Bowden stays behind Casey, Willie, and he doesn't. That's going to be it. Last lap for Bowden. It's going to be the last lap for Casey, and they're going to have another lap. They'll have 2 laps for the guys in front of them. So that's basically it. And that was a huge situation. I think looking at it overall later on, you might have been on the radio to Bowden saying, hey, back off for 2 seconds and let those guys cross the start-finish so that they can have 2 more laps. Not the case. Bowden he's gone, and so Casey will miss out on his final lap of racing. But wow, what a high dramatic event.
Mark Bowden did slow down that last lap. He lost some speed on the track as he was managing that traffic. But boy, oh boy, up front, we're continuing to see him roll away in a great battle back in the pack.
Yeah, sure. In fact, what happened there is the respect that I was just talking about was just displayed by Val, who let Britt Casey go. He's not racing them. There's nothing for Val to race against. Norian is well in front of him. Val's going to pick up P2 in his class, but that was a really kind thing for Val to do. Get out of the way so that Lipner and Casey can go at it. And they do! They go at it in turn 11, and Casey is through. Britt Casey is through and takes over the position. It looks like Lipner gets wide. Incredible! And the checkered flag is coming out.
Coming to the checkered flag, and your winner will be Mark Bowden. He will win overall and in GT2. But what a thrilling finish we had on that final lap. Woo. Amazing racing out here at Autobahn. But Mark Bowden will lap the field today with Bob Nurian coming in second place. Waiting for the timing and scoring to reset, but we just saw quite a performance by Mark Bowden today, and not surprised at all with the difference that we had in qualifying speeds, but Mark Bowden just lap after lap was so consistent today.
In what was otherwise a relatively straightforward race, we did get to see some drama there on the last lap between Casey and Lipner. So that was very exciting. Everybody else was basically, kind of spread out. A little bit of a battle that you had, a little further back, but nothing class-wise. Nobody battling in their own classes for position. A couple of on-track battles with cars that might be in a different class, but nevertheless, fantastic stuff. Great spectator action going on, and what a place for that to take place there at the end of the straight in turn 11. And Britt was right there to pick up the pieces, and Lipner goes wide. Whether there was contact there or not, that's going to be an entirely different question that needs to be explored or would be easily dismissed. It was a quick question to see if anybody touched anybody, but wow, super exciting. Here's how they finished on track. Mark Bowden, he's your GT2 winner, and he is the overall winner. Nobody in GT1. Bakerly drove his Cup car into the first turn of lap 1, had an incident, and did not finish that race. GT3 winners, Bob Norian. Sean picks up the win in GT4, and that certainly explains why he was so kind in letting Casey get on with his fight. And Tony Kester never really challenged back in GT5, and I feel bad that we didn't talk too much about Tony Kester in GT5 because there wasn't any nail-biting battles going on in that class, but that is always an exciting subclass in the GT car series, and Tony Kester has firm control of that championship at this moment.
So let's wrap it up class by class. No finishers in GT1. In GT2, it was Mark Bowden taking the overall and the GT2 class. Britt Casey was second in GT2 with Roy Lipner in third place in that GT2 class of the 3 GT2 cars that were in the race. In GT3, it was Bob Nurian who put on a really good performance today, finishing second overall. Valdez Garelius in second place in GT3. Back in GT4, Sean Venkavicius is your winner. He finished sixth overall, first in class. Scott Benning, Sr., your second place finisher in GT4. And rounding out your podium in GT4 is Kirk Cordell, who finished 11th overall. Your winner in the GT5 class, Tony Kester, and as you said, Mike, it was quite an easy win for him today over Mike Keck, who finished second, and of the 2 cars that finished, but Keck back in 10th overall. Of the 11 or of the 13 cars or 12 cars that started, 11 finished today's action. So that's your GT race in the books. The Spec Miata race number 3 will be coming up next. So what do you think we're going to see in race 3? We have seen 2 fantastic Spec Miata races. Do we see the Triple Crown go to the winner of the first 2 races? I mean, will he be able to win all 3? That would be pretty impressive.
Yeah, well, Autobahn presenting to you the Spec Miata Triple Crown. And now we're going to figure out all those answers, Dennis. It's race number 3 coming up here. Beautiful drone shots. Thank you, Josh. We're looking at the grid in pit lane for the Spec Miata class. And here is how they start heading into race number 3 of the Triple Crown. Brandon Collins, 2 wins earlier today, so that gives him 2 points. Remember how we're doing this now. It's basically like cross-country scoring. Whatever position you finish, that's how many points you get in the previous 2 races. That's how we figure out the grid for the 3rd race. So you got Brandon Collins is going to take P1 with Taro Kushida in P2 there, sharing the front row with him on the inside. John Joe Duane and Gavin Gleitzman, they will share the 2nd row. Joe Duane with 8 points and Gavin with 11 points. Malter and Ballard. Scott Ballard having a nice day. He starts in P6 on the inside of row 3. Josh Dale and Matt Keck will line up on the 4th row. And Mike Ryan and Greg Sorg will line up on the 5th row. It looks like this is going to be a very interesting situation here in Spec Miata because, well, number 1, Brandon Collins, he leads the championship. he just won the 2 races earlier today. He won 2 races earlier in the season. So he has a solid lead in the championship at this point. Gavin Gleitzman is right there. Taro Kishida, normally right there, but has had a couple of incidents that took place in weeks 1, 2, and 3. He didn't even go to week 1, so that was one of his drops, and had varying results in the other races. So the normal top 5 in the championship, where you would normally see a Matt Alexander, a Taro Kishida, and others, does not quite look like that at the moment. So remember, this is week number 4. You're allowed to drop 4 races of the 14 throughout the season-long championship. So, again, theoretically, and we talked about this earlier, you could drop every single race of the season, weeks 1, 2, 3, and 4, including this season, and you're still fine. You're still firmly in the championship because you've got, 10 races to go throughout the rest of the year. So, an interesting format, this Triple Crown situation, where it's 3 short races as opposed to 20 or 22 lap races on the South Track. We do 12 lap races during the Triple Crown, and so much shorter races, and you don't get championship points for any of the individual races. The championship points for this week get added up after the 3rd race, and so they will add up the total of your finishing positions. So let's just take Brandon Collins, for example, and let's just say Brandon Collins wins again in this 3rd race. That will be 3 points total for him. And again, because we're doing that quote-unquote cross-country sort of scoring there, that will be 3 points. The person with the lowest amount of point total wins the race for the week. So that's how the podium will shape up at the end of this race. You're going to have to do a little bit of mathematics. It's not going to be necessarily how they finish on track. It could be, but it may not necessarily be that is going to make up our podium for the rest of the afternoon. So right now, you're kind of looking at a drone shot of the podium, and again, that beautiful Mercedes GT race car driven by Mark Bowden. He takes the overall win in the GT class. They will do their podium right now. Autobahn staff and corner workers and the recovery crews are going to tidy up the South Track and get it ready to go for Spec Miata race number 3. Following the Spec Miata race, SM2, the Spec Miata 2 race number 3. For our Triple Crown.
It's going to be really interesting to see how Gavin Gleitzman does in this final race, because he started on pit lane 17th last race and made an impressive run through the field. This time he's going to start 4th. So a lot easier task for him, and I think we might see a pretty good battle with Gavin Gleitzman getting towards the front and giving our top 2 a bit of a race here in this final race of the day.
Absolutely, and honestly, I probably shouldn't say this. I am a big fan. I'm a big fan of Gavin Gleitzman. I like watching this kid. I've watched him in karts, watched him last year as a rookie in SM, and watching him this year, he's very fast. He is absolutely going to be a driver to beat in every race coming up the rest of the season. What Gavin is having trouble with right now is keeping clean. Don't touch anybody. Don't bump people. Don't get in the corners and drive aggressively. Right now, he's had a couple of penalties, and he's lost points. Important points, very important points, because putting together a championship in Spec Miata is more than grabbing a couple of wins here and there. You have to have a full season of thoughtful racing, of considerate. You need to think about your tires. You need to think about all the different variables. And frankly, he's got a great garage. His father, a 3-time Spec Miata champion. These guys know how to win in Spec Miata. The Gleitzman family is very much on top of it. And so watching this kid for the rest of the season is going to be certainly one of my pleasures, but I think that the rest of the membership will watch to see this kid's development and just be very impressed with how quickly he goes. Now, as much as his skill is way up there, Gavin Gleitzman, he's young. He's 15. The maturity The experience isn't quite there, and so knowing when to chill out a little bit and back out of it, and we can't send it every time, right? You can't send it in every corner. You can't throw away points, and so he's learning that right now. And again, all of those elements go together to putting together a championship, and that's how it needs to be. It's not just, are you fast over one lap? Are you fast over one race or one weekend? It's how can you do for the entire summer. Right?
These Spec Miata cars, they kind of get you to want to misbehave because they're so even. And as we've seen, lap after lap, we can go nose to tail, nose to tail. That gets frustrating after a while. You want to push that envelope just a little bit, and that's when the maturity kind of will kick in, and you'll get to be a smarter racer over time. But boy, he put on a heck of a performance in that last race, coming from 17th and working his way all the way up through that field. That was impressive to me. And we also saw our first and second place racers that had to come back from the invert and did so in about 3 laps. I have a feeling they're going to pull away. Those first 4 or 5 cars are going to pull away from the field here in race 3 and put on their own show among the 4 or 5 of those top cars here entering race 3.
I think so too. One of the things that I think that we should consider, that we really don't know the facts about this, but we don't know who's on what tires. Like at what, how many heat cycles are on Brandon Collins' tires? Did he grab a new set off the rack for this race right here, for race number 3? Or is he just running with what he has? Is he running on old stuff? What is everybody else doing? I'd really be interested to know those types of details, and we'll certainly find that stuff out later when we're all visiting around the campfire in the evening. But at this moment right now, I think tire condition is going to be a factor for these top 5 cars. Like you said, they do about the same lap times, right? And so, yeah, what's going to be the advantage? What's going to be the advantage this time? Is it qualifying position? Is it where you are on the grid? Is it mistakes? Is it tire wear? What is going to be the thing that kind of pivots the way this race is going to go? But I'm super excited. Dennis. This is a very cool day. The racing has been tight. It's been clean for the most part. We said earlier Gavin had a bit of an incident in the first race, but not egregious incident. But there's been very few. Crazy incidents. We have had a couple, but that happens in racing. And so, just an enjoyable afternoon for the moment.
You'll often get little disagreements for real estate in racing, and it's not intentional, but you end up putting your car in a bad spot. And we saw that with Gavin in that first race. They're really good out here at Autobahn of officiating the races close because they want everybody to be safe and they want everybody to have a good time and put on a good show. But we are going to see a great final race out here. This Triple Crown type of format is a lot of fun with this Spec Miata class because these cars are so even. It's fun to watch the driver talent come up through the field after that invert in
sure.
race 2.
Another one of the elements is, can you hop in the car 3 times in one day or 4 times with a qualifying session and do 20, 25-minute sessions? Like, that's, again, going to be like, how fatigued are you? Are you physically fit? Are you mentally fit? Are you ready to do this again? Because some people can gear up for one race or one, but to have all day, it's like, all right, you're back in. Okay, you had an hour break, you're back in. Let's go and do this. And so it's little elements like that who knows, could at the end of the day be, things that we're talking about.
And having that car go through those heat cycles in the same day as well, that's something that the cars aren't used to as well. So we'll get it all sorted out here, though. In race 3, they're behind that beautiful Performance Fleet partner Lexus pace car which will be making that hard left turn onto pit road. And we're going to have some exciting racing. We'll be going 12 laps here in race 3 for the Spec Miata class. And here we go.
Safety car is off in 12 laps, about to take the green.
Mike, take us to the green.
Brandon Collins on the inside, Taro Kishida on the outside. We got a green flag, and we're 3 wide deeper into the field as we head down toward turn 1. Brandon Collins on the inside, Taro on the outside, very clean. Gavin on the outside in P4. On the inside of Gavin is John Joe Dwayne.
Side by side
in 3.
Side by side racing and minding all their manners as they get this sorted out.
Single file for the first 5 as they head into turn 4. Remember, cars are going a little bit of an off there in the middle of the pack. Who is that just sent it off? Was that Matt Keck?
Might have been. It was a red car.
Brandon Collins with the lead, 4 car lengths as he heads through turn 7.
Re-enters the racing tail end of the field. But we're still green, and we still got the entire field in action.
Mike Ryan, you're seeing there, just in front of Scott Ballard. And the top 10 cars nose to stern. Single file now. Gavin Gleitzman picks up a position off of John Joe Dwayne, so he is sitting in P3 right behind Taro Kishida as they head down toward turn 11. Brandon Collins in the lead. Collins a little bit wide at 11, so everybody's very close. As the crowd sees these guys coming around turn 13, you're going to see the top 3 bumper to bumper. And here comes Gleitzman with a tiny bit of a run there. Let's see what happens down in turn 1. Taro Kishida looking inside. He thinks better of it and falls back in line. All top 3, top 5, top 10 are going through single file through turns 1, 2, and coming up on 3.
Just that, the first 10 or 11 cars just serpentining through the corners. Brandon Collins out on top after lap 1. Taro Kishida in second. Gleitzman, Joe Dwayne, and Malta round out the top 5. And that was Josh Dale that was off in that first lap, and he's tail end of the field, 14th here of the 14 cars that have started lap 3 or race 3 here for the Spec Miata class.
Yeah, just on my casual observation here, it looks like Taro is worried much more about what's happening behind him than what's going on in front of him. Now, I don't know that for a fact, but he has got Gleitzman all over his bumper, and that is going to be his focus for the time being. I suspect that Brandon Collins is going to be able to get away here in the next couple of laps. We're going to watch this battle closely, but the top 5, all very tight with Joe Dwayne in P4. P5, currently Jake Malter having a great day. Jake Malter.
Joe Dwayne in 4th place, about the smoothest looking car through those corners right now, and just sitting there in 4th place waiting to see what happens up front. But up front it's Collins and Kishida and Gleitzman, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Kishida taking a look again here as we finish lap 2, but he'll fall back in line into the first turn.
Gavin all over Kishida. It was an incident in the first race in a very similar location where Gavin got underneath a competitor there in turn 1, pushed him a little wide and earned himself a penalty. It looks like he was very much borderline into doing that again. He didn't push Kishida wide in this case, but they was definitely all over each other's bumper there. So they're going side by side now as they approach turn 6. Wow, Gleitzman has a little bit of a run here. Kishida's going to have to do everything he can. They're side by side almost in turn 7. It's still Kishida ahead, but they are back to single file now as they head in toward turn 8. Wow. That is the next dramatic situation is going to happen between Gleitzman and Kishida.
In that first race today, it was Joe Dwayne that got the worst of it from Gleitzman, and sitting there in fourth watching Gleitzman battle Kushida here in the third race and final race, and now Kushida has gained ground on leader Brandon Collins.
Last laps for the top three, all in the high 38s, 38.9s for all of them. All three of these guys are doing identical lap times. As you'd probably be able to anticipate that from spectating, they're all literally, there's no distance between them. So, yeah, very, very cool to watch these guys make their way through turns 1 and 2. And it looks like the battle for a little further back in what might be P7, 8 is starting to heat up as well. Just in front of Greg Sorg, you got Scott Ballard and Mike Keck going at it.
Up front, your top three cars.
Sorg dives it. Sorg throws it down to the inside. Turn 4. He made it stick. Let's see how this plays out. Greg Sorg side by side with Scott Ballard. Ballard pretty wide. Looks like he picked up a little dirt. Sorg is through. Excellent play by Greg Sorg. He got turns 1, 2, and 3 organized, made the pass in turn 4, and held it into turns 5 and 6.
Meanwhile, up front, your first three still nose to tail. They were officially about half a second from first to third after that third lap. But boy, oh boy, you can count the distance in car lengths, and it's only about 2.5 car lengths back to third place Gavin Gleitzman right now. Those top three have pulled out a little bit of an edge on John Joe Dwayne in fourth, but boy, oh boy, back through the pack, continuing to see some great racing action.
I like Joe Dwayne's position. I like him sitting in P4 there, just kind of watching what's going to be going on with that, with those podium positions there, because that's not going to end politely. None of this is going to be politely, sorted. This is all going to be this is all going to be some drama. And if Gleitzman, he looks to me, just watching on television, it looks like he's slightly quicker than Kushida. If he gets past Kushida, I think he's going to give Collins a little bit more than Taro is at this moment.
After what we saw from Gavin Gleitzman starting 17th from pit lane, we knew he would be a tough competitor here as he continues to gnaw away at the back bumper of Taro Kushida. Brandon Collins is pulled away by about 4 car lengths, but you're right, Gleitzman's the fastest car on the track, and it's not even close.
38.5 was his last tour, and as you say, Dennis, fastest lap of the race. Fastest car on the track at the moment. The 51 car, sponsored by Food and Fuel, making his way through the field here and trying to get himself positioned for a much-needed podium.
Lost a little bit of ground to second place Taro Kushida, and now John Joe Dwayne in fourth place is starting to reel him in. We're going to see those top 4 battling here as we head to finish lap number 5.
Then you got Malter, Ryan, and Keck picking up the top 7, top 8. But yeah, as you say, Dennis, this is definitely the action to watch out for. But, 5 laps down, we're on lap number 6. Not that many more laps to go. We're almost halfway through. After we finish this, we are halfway through with this race. And so, yeah, I expect to see these, the P2, 3, and 4 start to take some chances. We're just going to see Brandon Collins do his thing. Not going to see too much drama out of him, I wouldn't think. But you're going to see 2, 3, and 4, including Gavin, who seems to be the the one who is the most dramatic at the moment. He is not done. He is not done with his day, and sitting there in P3 is not going to be satisfactory to him. And like you said, it does seem like Joe Dwayne has cut the distance between those guys and is right getting near the back bumper of Gavin Gleitzman.
Kushida having to play defense, and that's killing his lap times a little bit, and has allowed fourth place John Joe Duane to get it back into contention. Meanwhile, Keck and Ryan putting on a show 6th and 7th.
Yeah, we look further back in the pack. That is probably, like you just said, maybe one of the best battles going on right now is Keck trying to take over Ryan. And Sorg just a couple of seconds behind them. You also got Artie Zeismer and Tom Bagley toward the back of the pack, battling for P12 and 13.
That's the fun part of this class here with these Spec Miatas. There's always racing action. And now your first 4 cars all nose to tail again as Brandon Collins lost a little bit of time. And now Taro Kishido is trying to get past him for the lead.
Yeah, this is some of the best top 5 Spec Miata racing that we've seen in, the last few seasons in terms of there's just no... It's not obvious who is the best Spec Miata driver out there right now. There are 6 or 7 fellas that can really win a race and show everybody how it's done out here. And these first 4 races of this season basically look like this. The top 5, top 4 are nose to tail most of the time. And so it's worth noting that there have been seasons where it's not quite like that, where they spread out a little bit more and the talent's a little bit more varied. But right now, these guys are wringing the neck out of these Miatas, and they're all putting down fast times, all of their fast times of the day, and they're hanging out right around 38.2.
Taro Kishida getting a run on that leader, Brandon Collins. Mike, it seems like all 4 of our top cars are faster in a different part of the track and then slower than their competitors in another part of the track. That's letting them kind of reel each other in. And now third place, Gavin Gleitzman has Kishido in his sights.
That's right. Gavin is better through turns 11, 12, 13, 1, 2, and 3 than Kushida. It looks like somebody went wide.
I think it was your 6th and 7th place.
Yeah, I don't know if they hit the wall there or just went wide, but that battle between Kushida and Gleitzman is a beautiful one. But the part that most of the crowd can see that's taking place here in, again, 11, 12, 13, and then 1, 2, and 3, the faster car is Gleitzman. It does look like Kushida's got a bit of an edge on Gleitzman, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, to your point, people are faster on different parts of the track, aren't they?
Yeah, and early in the lap, Brandon Collins can get out by about 3 or 4 car lengths. But then Kushida and Gleitzman kind of reel him back in. And meanwhile, the most consistent car is sitting there in 4th place. John Joe Duane might not be faster than the top 3, but he's very consistent in every part of the track. And he just kind of reels in the top 3 here towards the end of the lap.
And I think that's his best strategy. I don't think that you need to push those tires any more than you are right now. There's nothing to be gained by trying to, get there with Gavin and Taro. Like, just let that play out, because I really do think that tire wear and the way your machine performs over the course of a long day like this, and certainly over a season, is going to be a factor.
That old rubber band getting a little tighter up on the front end. Brandon Collins continues to lead, but that top 4 all nose to tail as they come to the stripe, and you got less than a second separating the top 4. They've got about a 4-second lead over Jake Malter in 5th place, Matt Keck in 6th, and Mike Ryan in 7th. Lost a little bit of ground, about a half-second back. Then it's Greg Sorg, Ballard, and Lockridge winding out your top 10, but the first 4 up front still nose to tail.
Much further back in the field, good battle taking place between Tom Bagley and Josh Dale. Not but a second between those guys. Artie Zeismer a second behind Bagley, so good action taking place there. But otherwise, Mike Ryan only a half second behind Keck. So that's a situation that happened. Looks like Gavin's out. It looks like Gavin has had some sort of mechanical situation. He is slowing down into turn 8, and we'll have a quick look to see what is going on there. But, it looks like he is slow through turn 8, and he's going to be almost coming to a stop into turn 9. And whether Gavin can get this car off of the track in a safe spot, he does. He gets it off the track behind the safety barrier there at turn 10. Gavin Gleitzman out. What a dramatic situation there for our championship, and wow, what a day! What a day that the kid has been offering up for us spectators here. It's really been something. I would love to hear how that played out, what went down, what broke. But we were just talking about the longevity of the machines, the tires, your mind, your body, all that stuff's a factor. Gavin Gleitzman out with a mechanical.
3 laps to go, and that little mix-up with Gavin all of a sudden being off the pace sort of kind of got that top 4 group sort of spread out a little bit. Brandon Collins out by about 6/10 now of Taro Kishida, and Joe Dwayne in 3rd place. Jake Malter will take over 4th, and Matt Keck up to 5th. But your top 3 now, little breathing room up front, and leader Brandon Collins continuing to show the way.
And we just talked about that. So Joe Dwayne, this is a free P3. Didn't have to use tires. Didn't have to get involved in a mix-up. Didn't have to put his elbows out. Didn't have to do anything dramatic to have P3. He just was there. He made sure he was doing consistent laps, and he was there in case something happens, and here he is right now, 1 second behind Taro Kishida, and that will be a great finish. If it plays out the way that we're looking at right now, this is great news for Joe Dwayne and Kishida, because those are 2 positions, P2 and 3, in the championship that they would be more than happy to have. Now, of course, how we finish on track is not totally how we finish the weekend. We have to do all the mathematics, and you and I are going to get confused here for the moment. But yeah, anyways, yeah, it's definitely good for those guys. Definitely not so good for Gavin.
Luckily, I understand Nate has his abacus ready to go into action to add all those points up for us. But up front, Brandon Collins starting to get a little tighter back to 2nd place, and Taro Kishida. John Joe Dwayne comfortably in 3rd, but he's lost about a half a second to those top 2 that continue to lead the way out here at Autobahn.
Exciting stuff, and really the gap between 1 and 2 is, well, now that we mention it, coming down. It was almost a second, not an entire lap ago, and it's down to 4/10, and Kishida got himself a little bit of a run on the back straight. He has tucked himself right behind Collins, pokes himself out just to put himself in Brandon Collins' mirrors. Didn't have really any interest in making anything happen there at turn 11, as they now go through turn 12 together and up to 13. You will see that the gap between them is basically nil. Last lap.
Back down to a car length as they take the white flag. 1 to go, and Kishida making the move to the inside.
Come on now.
Kishida and Collins battling for that top position, putting on a great show out here at Autobahn.
Wow.
But Collins holds him off for now. John Joe Dwayne sitting there comfortably in 3rd. Jake Malter and Keck rounding out your top 5, but the show is up front. Collins and Kishida putting on a great show today.
Brandon Collins 6 turns away from a clean sweep of the Triple Crown. We won't have any discussions or confusion about figuring out who wins and gets the 100 points for the weekend when Collins crosses the line first here. But Kishida, before this all happens, is going to explore any possibility that might be made available to him here as they head through turns 9 and now approach the left-hander at 10 onto the back straight.
Going down the backstretch for the final time. This would be the last chance for Kushida to reel in that small car and a half length advantage. He cannot close the gap, but he'll try to the inside. Kushida to the inside. Collins on the outside. Collins holding him off. Both drivers leaving each other a little bit of space to run. Collins leading the way, coming off the final turn to the checkers. Kushida, try one more time, Brandon, but it's too late. Side by side, Brandon Collins takes the win.
Oh, that was fantastic. Highly dramatic. Excellent positioning, or rather, excellent battle between P2 and 3. But in the end, man, Taro Kushida gave Brandon Collins everything he could handle. Joe Dwayne comfortably in P3. Brandon Collins a clean sweep. 3 wins, earns him 100 points for the weekend, and a firm handle on P1 in the Spec Miata Championship. Wow, what a race!
We saw great races all day long for this Spec Miata class. Brandon Collins coming home the winner in all 3 races, but he had to earn it. Taro Kushida putting on quite a show, battling him right down to the wire. John Joe Dwayne will come home in 3rd place in this race. Nate and his abacus will add it up and let us know, but I think that should be good enough for 3rd place for him overall on the day. Jake Malter will finish in 4th place. Matt Keck in 5th. They were just 0.2 of a second away as they take the checkered flag for 4th and 5th. So quite a battle back in the class, or back in the field in this class. Mike Ryan will come home in 6th place. Greg Sorg 7th. Scott Ballard 8th. And Kevin Lockridge in 9th. Dave Hicks rounds out your top 10 with Josh Dale in 11th. The never-aging Tom Bagley comes home in 12th place. You know, Mike, he was one of my favorite IndyCar drivers back in the day.
He's a great guy. I saw him in the parking lot the other day, and he walked up to me and said, "Hey, Mike, I think I'm plateauing." I was like, dude, you're 80-something. What are we talking about here?
Well, he didn't get his start until the 30s, so, you know, he started late in life. Could you imagine how great Tom Bagley would have been if he would have started at 15 like some of these kids we're seeing today? Art Zeismer finishes 13th. He was the last car to finish. And all 13 cars that finished on the lead lap out here in the Spec Miata class. Kevin Gleitzman put on quite a show for us today, battling for 2nd place most of the race, but he will get credited with 14th. Your top 10 officially. I told you Nate was going to be quick with the abacus.
He was very quick with it, and it's exactly how it played out on track, isn't it? So Brandon Collins gets 3 points. He sweeps the day and picks up the 100 points. Taro Kushida, he picks up position 2 on the track in race 3 and position 2 for the day, so he'll get 90 points, 80 points for John Joe Dwayne, and a P3 finish for race 3 and for the day. Jake Malter, Mike Keck, Scott Ballard. Then it's Mike Ryan, Josh Dale. Gavin Gleitzman picks up P9 overall for the day, and Greg Sorg is P10 with 29 points in the Spec Miata Triple Crown.
It's a what might have been for John Joe Dwayne today, because in that first race, that little incident cost him some positions, but still coming home with a great P3 finish for the day in the Triple Crown. And oh my goodness, folks, they put on a show, but we've got one more race to go.
We certainly do. One more race to go. And it's going to be Spec Miata 2. Connor Ryan, he's 2 for 2. He's got 2 points. Eli Desart, he's had a lovely day. The battle between those two continues. Bob Reisinger is looking for his first real end-of-the-day podium. He's got 2 podiums in the races earlier in the day, but he actually hasn't physically made his way up to a podium. He's a new racer. He's a new member in the last couple of years. He just started auto racing here in his 50s, and he would love nothing more than to take a step up toward that podium, and we'll be rooting for him as we take the green flag here coming up shortly. Sean Benet is going to be on his outside on on row 2. Bruce Malter, he is the number 5 car in the third row. Connor Miklos is the number 6 car. You got Gortner and Martinelli making up the row number 4, and Adam Lavelle and Hamill. Bill Hamill make up the top 10, and that is the 5th row of Spec Miata 2, which will go around for a couple of pace laps as we've been doing all day before they take their green flag. This is the last race of the day. What a day it's been, Dennis.
Been a fantastic day, and of course, up there on the old flag stand, got to remind you, our good friends from Gallagher Asphalt, you can't miss that beautiful Gallagher Asphalt South Starter stand. And thank you, Gallagher Asphalt, for making our track service smooth and safe. Finishing out the rest of your lineup here in this SM2 class, and of course, they're going by points from the first 2 races of the day. Back in row 6, Noel Sachs and John Southard, then Dan Scrimmeni and Dean Schilling, Tim Miller and Randy Cochran, and finally Tim Mount and Matt Kopecky will make the start here. So we'll have 18 cars. Matt getting his car ready to go here, but we will see Connor Ryan starting 5 grid spots back. So this will be interesting to see how this works out here, because he has been strong all day long.
Yeah, and that's the part I was looking at that I was like, wait a minute, got Connor Ryan in P5. He took a 5 grid spot penalty for a blocking penalty, as you said, and that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Starting, you know how Spec Miata is, right? 3 rows back, could be a situation. Though, I would say that Connor Ryan is probably not going to have too much trouble with, maybe. Well, he's got Miklos in front of him. He's got Malter, Sean Benet. These are all quality drivers, so I think that he can battle with them. I think he's got the edge. At the moment, I think Connor Ryan should be able to handle Miklos, Malter, Benet. He should be able to deal with Reisinger. This is going to be a Connor Ryan, Eli Desart situation again. How we get to that point is going to be the interesting part. If it's going to happen on lap 1, if it's going to take a little bit more of the race. It's going to be an interesting race for sure. And we are getting late news that maybe one car has dropped out, and that is going to be the car of Sean Benet. So the car that had our onboard camera, he has dropped out, and we just got that news up here in the broadcast booth now. So the grid should look like this. It should look like Desart and Reisinger on the first row, and then it should be Malter, Miklos on the second row, Ryan and Gortner on the third row. So that puts Connor Ryan just 1 row between himself and the front runners, and that kid's driving really well today. I don't see that being a problem.
Well, remember in race 2 with the invert, we saw Connor Ryan and Eli Dysart have to come back from about 9th and 10th on the starting grid.
They did it in short order, didn't they?
About 3 laps, yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how big of a lead the youngster Dysart can get before Connor Ryan can work his way back up through the field. I think we're going to see quite a show here at the beginning of our final race of the day.
I agree, Dennis. This should be a real cracker. It's going to be a really fun event. Just looking for his first win is Reisinger. He is not the type of driver that's simply going to let people go. Bob's going to race you, and so and he's moving around pretty quick these days. So watch out for Reisinger. Other folks in the field that can cause you some trouble. Noel Sachs. He's been driving pretty well as well. So he had a nice first race, not so much in the second race, but look for him to bounce back here in race 3. The field's making their way around turns 1 and 2 for the second time, and they'll be taking the green flag here, led by the safety car on this next time by. What a day.
Big thank you to Performance Fleet Partner Lexus for providing this year's official pace car. Oh, and it's a beauty. I wonder if they leave the cars in that, do you think they would notice me taking that home and try and me putting the pace car, all the signage from the pace car on my Kia, and I take the Lexus home? I think they're going to catch me.
The cops might see it with a pace car. I'll tell you, I had a couple of guests out here this week, and the Lexus cars that are in the performance fleet are lovely. A couple of my guests got to drive pretty fancy convertibles, a couple of Lexus convertibles, and they even hurt my feelings saying that they liked their car better than my car. They liked the Lexus better than what I had going, and I'm like, what are we talking about here? So, I say that to say that we are very privileged here at Autobahn to have some nice corporate deals with some driving partners, including Lexus, and so not a year goes by that we don't see the top-of-the-line Lexus fleet out here in the paddock, and members and guests are welcome to sample those fine automobiles. The Lexus four-door saloon car that you see there in the front has been leading our field, or a car just like it, for many years now. So, always excited to have good equipment on the property. And the field is starting to get themselves in order on the back straight as they head down toward turn 11. And we say hi to our friends at Race Caddy, the Joe Dwaynes. Thank you. Thank you for your support and the first bank card processing.
Mike, take us to the green flag.
Let's bring it to the green flag. Here is the pace car, takes it around turn 12. It will peel off to the left side and take itself into pit lane. And then we will see Dessart and Reisinger line up for the green flag. Dessart on the inside, Reisinger outside. And a beautiful drone shot by Josh Hardy, and we got a green flag. We are racing. We're 4 wide. Dessart right in the middle of the track. Perfect positioning. Not going to be a problem as they head into turn 1. Reisinger on the outside. It looks like they're going 2 wide through turn 1. They file back into single file into turn 2, and no position change in the top 4. Looks like everybody's got through organized and without any harm, but we are going 2 wide as we head into turn 4 there. It looks like a little bit of a battle of positions 5 and 6. Dessart leads Reisinger into turn 5. Single file in through turn 6 and approaching turn 7. Bob Reisinger with a nice little run on Dessart. And he's going to look to the outside of turn 8. And on the brakes, nothing doing there for him. Great drone shots with warehouses as far as the eye can see in the background. An oil refining plant. Welcome to Joliet. P1, 2, and 3, same as they started. Dessart has a 0.2 of a second lead on Bob Reisinger as we enter turn 11 for the first time in the third race of the Triple Crown in Spec Miata 2. Looks like side by side for P5.
P5 and that red car?
That's Connor.
Connor is moving up through the pack quite quickly.
Is.
Connor Ryan, we expected him to put on a show. He started P5 and he's already moving on up. Under the flag stand to complete the first lap, and Eli Dysart has the lead, but by just 0.4 of a second. Bob Reisinger in second, Connor Miklos in third. Connor Ryan up to fourth already, and he is the fastest car on the track. Bruce Malter in fifth. Eric Gortner in sixth position. Noel Sachs, David Martinelli, and Bill Hamill rounding out your top 10. But up front, the youngster Eli Dysart with the lead.
Dysart driving with much more maturity than you would think at 15 years old. Leading Spec Miata races here at Autobahn is not the easiest thing to do. I don't care if you're in Spec Miata 2 or Spec Miata 1. It's a hard thing to do, and evidenced by the fact that Bob Reisinger, a relatively new racer, but somebody who is very quick in his own right, is giving the young boy a bit of an eyeful in his mirrors. And so is Connor Ryan on Connor Miklos. In fact, that's going to happen, and it's going to happen right here and right now. It looks like Connor Ryan is going side by side with Miklos. Ryan on the outside, he's in the better position. It looks like Miklos says, yeah, go ahead. This is not my race. This is not what I'm getting involved in. A P4 situation is much more comfortable for Miklos at this moment, and Connor Ryan is through into P3.
Meanwhile, up front, the youngster Eli Dysart continues to lead the way. Bob Reisinger, though, looks really comfortable and really racy, sitting in second place. But it won't be long that Connor Ryan is knocking on the door for second place. He's running in third already. Miklos and Malter round out your top five. Up front, that youngster Dysart just holding off Reisinger, but here comes Connor Ryan from third place.
Yeah, Reisinger's mirrors are filling up with orange, and that is an uncomfortable position. But like you just said, and I appreciate that compliment you give to Reisinger, he does look comfortable. He looks racy. Those are two things I would not describe that guy as previous to today. But he has properly impressed his friend here up in the broadcast booth, Bob Reisinger, holding on to P2 at the moment. But he absolutely has got Connor Ryan, who has the race's fastest lap on that last tour. He's got him heading right up his back bumper and is going to have his hands full. But it looks like we are full course caution. At least that's what that particular signboard is saying. Car number 211. Looks like in this case, Noel Sachs, again, off. And we are going full course yellow because that car is in a spot that is not going to be easily recovered. And so you are seeing Autobahn crews heading out toward that car there just on the exit of turn 1, it appears. I'm not seeing exactly where he is, but I think he's on the exit of 1. And will need to be collected here. But either way, we are full course yellow. The pace car is out, successfully picking up Dysart, and so no problems here. Just standard operating procedure here. We're going to go line to stern, 60 miles an hour. It is the exit of turn 1 that you see. The car off, Noel Sachs. A couple of tough races. He had a nice race there in race 1, I believe, and then races 2 and 3, bit by some unluckiness, and so his day is done. But the rest of the field will file in single file behind the pace car, and we will reset this race.
Noel Sachs was running in 7th place when he went off track and ended his day early. So with 3 laps on the board, it's Eli Dysart on top. Bob Reisinger's really impressed me today. Solid second. Connor Ryan in third. Connor Miklos in fourth. Bruce Malter rounds out your top 5. In 6th place, it's Eric Gortner, followed by David Martinelli. Then Bill Hamill in 8th. Dean Schilling is 9th. And Matt Kopecki rounds out your top 10. Tim Miller running 11th. Randy Cochran in 12th. And Tim Milne in 13th. All 13 of those cars still on track and on your lead lap all behind your performance fleet partner Lexus. Beautiful pace car out here at Autobahn. And, you know, Mike, I think they needed a little break up front to get ready and recharged for this the last 8 laps of this great race.
Yeah, not a bad idea to get those tires back down to starting temperatures. While we encourage you with our drone shot to follow us on social media there at Autobahn CC on both Facebook and Insta, and then shoot over to YouTube where you will find our own YouTube page as well. Getting some more details about Sachs' car. Noel Sachs looks like he got into an incident in the second race, and, you know, the way these Miatas go, if you have any contact, generally, it's going to require an inspection, and in many cases, a replaced hub or other bits of suspension. Those parts are generally the weakest link of a Miata race car, and it does look like Noel Sachs has a broken suspension, whether that was because of contact from an earlier race today or it was something that took place in this race. It looks like we're going to have a little bit of an extended recovery, as you see across the top of the screen. Sachs' car with a flatbed, so they can't just throw a rope on the front of it and yank it by the scruff of the neck the way that we do most race cars and just to get them out of the way. They're actually going to have to put this one on the flatbed. They can't drag it, so it's probably going to be an extra lap or two. But it does look like quick work is being made by recovery crews, and I suspect that maybe 2 more laps, maybe 1 more. But yeah, full course at any rate at this moment. And yeah, just a little bit of a race reset. You've already done that, but Dennis, yeah, really excited about the top 4 right now. Yeah, this is when we go back green. I think this is going to get real.
Great member racing event here again today from the Autobahn Country Club, Joliet, Illinois. And if you want to find out more information about the facility and all that it has to offer and look into the memberships, head over to autobahncc.com. And I'm telling you, no better way to entertain your customers, if you own a business in the area, than having them out here at the Autobahn Country Club. What a beautiful facility.
It's an excellent facility, and there are so many things to do. You don't really need to be into auto racing or auto sport to really enjoy your time out here. Sometimes it's just fun to cruise around in a golf cart and look at what everybody's got going, you know, just observe what other projects are happening around the property, to just roll into somebody's garage and, you know, hey, what are you guys doing? A lot of the teams around here, a lot of the families are participating in national level motorsport classes. And so all throughout this field, not just in Spec Miata and Spec Miata 2, but in the GT class, a lot of these folks do some racing off the property as well. But while we're here on the property, it is a great place, you know, to bring guests, whether it's in a corporate environment or just your neighbors. And guaranteed, whether it's the kart track, delicious meals in the clubhouse, viewing on the south patio of all the races. And then, of course, it's a private property, so we've all got bikes and golf carts and little, you know, vehicles that people have fun with, cruising around and enjoying the day. So, yeah, you are so right. And as you see in the background there, that kart track, another a big feather in our cap here at Autobahn. It is what we do best at Autobahn in terms of attracting outside folks. People love our kart track. The public gets to come toward the second half of the day, Wednesday through Sunday, and yeah, they've just really, over the last 15, 20 years here at Autobahn, really created a nice environment for not just members, but guests who are really not into cars to come out and hang out for the day.
this is the place that started it all.
Yeah, look at that kart track.
Really, oh,
and they're going backwards today. They're going backwards. So that's an exciting thing. Every now and again, they'll go backwards on the kart track. Every now and again, they'll use that skid pad that you see to the right side of the screen, and they'll make a really big kart track. So, yeah, super exciting here. Karting is where most of these Spec Miata kids that we're talking about, this is where they started, right there on that little kart track. So now you're seeing them on the big track, and you're seeing them, give us thrills and chills, throwing these, bigger pieces of equipment around. But yeah, they just started a few years ago in tiny go-karts.
Isn't that where Eli got his start?
I believe it is. Gavin Gleitzman got his start there. Brandon Collins got his start. All of it. It did. Most of the young people here at Autobahn, they've all started at the kart track for sure.
We're going to be going green next time by, but head on over to AutobahnCC.com for more information on how you can be a member. And I can tell you, folks, I'm not a member here. They treat you really nice around here. Everybody is so friendly. This is the place you want to be a member. And I joked about it last time I was on the stream here. I once asked one of the members why they came here instead of playing golf anymore. And they said, well, I was tired of losing my balls out on the golf course. So far, I haven't lost a car out in the trees. We're going green next time by.
Haven't lost a car yet, and we are going green. Here we go. Here we go. Pace car has peeled off. It's going to be a 6-lap shootout for the win here, and green flag is flying. Desart leading Reisinger. We're 5, would be 6 wide, heading down the main straight, and it looks like the inside is Connor Ryan. Takes Bob Reisinger and puts him back into third place, but Reisinger is not done there. Looks like Miklos he's gonna take Ryan through, and he pushes Ryan off. Reisinger claimed turn 3 and pushed off Connor Ryan off to the outside, Ryan into the wall. That is a major situation. It looks like Connor Ryan's able to get that back going, but that battle for turn 3, oh, wow. And this isn't done. This is not done. We're not sure if Connor Ryan can get that car going or if he's had some suspension or steering breakage there at turn 3. We'll get the news here very shortly. We're still green, but we'll definitely be looking at that drama as this race unfolds.
Up front, Bob Reisinger was putting quite the pressure on leader Eli Dysart, but we will go full course yellow once again. But
and they're still racing. These guys are still racing. They don't understand that it's still full course. Look at this. There is a race down the back straight, and that looks like it's Connor Miklos, who then stands on the brakes. He's now 13 car lengths in front of the field. He was in P4. So he's going to let the field kind of collect themselves behind him, and now he pulls out of the way at turn 12 to let Reisinger and Desart go through. Very interesting, but yeah, missing full course caution flag stations is something that we've talked about ad nauseum in driver briefings and any race-related racer meetings that we have here at Autobahn is, hey man, know what is happening at the flag stations. And for a moment there, racing continued to progress down the back straight there, even though we went through a couple of full course yellow stations. Now, we didn't actually get to see what is going on at turn 8 and turn 10 in terms of those yellow flags, but we assume that those were displayed, that those were properly displayed when we all saw the full course yellow come up on our screen. We assume that the digital boards were showing that as well. We'll get back to you on that one to see if there was any sort of mistake. But there were a couple of drivers heading down the main straight waving their hands, presumably because they feel like they were passed under yellow. They might not be in the correct position or so. That's usually what you would see a driver doing in that case. If they're waving their hand as they head by the flag station, they're usually trying to say, hey, this isn't correct. This order might not be correct. This isn't right. And so, we got to get that kind of organized, to say nothing of what caused this incident, which was Reisinger and Ryan heading through turn 3 at the same time. Tough one on that. How do you rule that one? Did Bob give him enough room? Was Ryan not backing out when maybe he should have, or is it the other way around? Was Reisinger a little aggressive, diving in down toward the apex there, and so we do have to sort that out. It looks like in this case, because the full course yellow will proceed longer than the race laps that we have, we may go red flag. We're going to stop this race. At least that's what's being talked about at this point. The safety car will likely pull into pit lane, and we will just go full red flag. Okay? And they will restart from the pits and have 3 or possibly 4 racing laps. Great call on the part of race control so that we can have some racing so that we don't finish this under full course yellow. Somebody like Eli Desart, somebody like Bob Reisinger might love for this race to end right now under full course yellow. But it is the race director's position that we are going to take the entire field into pit lane. We're going to go red flag until we can get Ryan out of the way. And then we are going to go back racing for 3 and possibly 4 laps. So yeah, good bit of drama here in Spec Miata 2. And it all began with the restart and with the battle for P2 between Reisinger and Ryan. So, wow, very, very interesting. And, yeah, Dennis, it's just been, well, certainly in race 3 in Spec Miata and Spec Miata 2, we've got some drama here, don't we?
We have drama indeed, and we have had no shortage of drama in racing all day long, especially in this Miata class. Between the Spec Miata and the SM2 classes today, we had 3 races apiece. And we didn't have a close race in the bunch. We had good competition in all 6 of these Miata races we've had. Mark Bowden kind of put us to sleep in the GT class by running away, but we still had good racing throughout that field. But my goodness, these Miatas, I am very entertained by the show that they put on out here at Autobahn. And, it's the perfect size track for them when they're running the South Course. I think it's perfect length of a lap for these drivers to put on a great show, and it makes it almost impossible for them to get away from each other too.
I think you're right about that, and I think that it's worth noting there's quite a bit of the membership here that comes out to races just to watch. When the Spec Miatas are running, it's busy here at Autobahn. The lunchroom is hopping. The south patio is usually going, and it's usually the weekend that people invite people out, that members invite guests out, because it's just so entertaining, the Spec Miatas. So yeah, I'm right there with you. The drama has been front and center for us. But yeah, this last one, and I can't wait to see the replay. Hopefully we're getting that one queued up to just see how those cars went into turn 3. That's going to be Ryan and Reisinger, and you'd be able to make a call. We've talked about this. We've talked about this, again, in drivers' meetings, and we talk about it, like I said before, sitting around the campfire. Hey, what's appropriate? What is an acceptable level of aggression? What is an acceptable level of, hey, I'm here, I'm sending it? Or do you need to back out of it? And frankly, new racer Bob Reisinger has had a few incidents. He's had a few incidents where he's been sanctioned. And so was he also, in this case, being too aggressive? Maybe, maybe not. We'll have a look at it. Certainly, Connor Ryan thought that he was there, that he was on a decent line, that he could finish that off. He didn't drive off the track himself, I'll tell you that. He definitely didn't take a right-hand turn through that left. He got pushed. Was Bob appropriate 808 car in being there or not? That's where Mike Ritter, earns his money. Is now he's going to look at video, both in Bob's car. He's going to look at the video in Connor's car. He will probably even look at the video in Connor Miklos' car, and just see how all of that played out. But yeah, uncertainty at this moment. We don't quite know if there's going to be any penalties handed down from that incident, and it's just it's going to be very exciting to see how this plays out. But have a look. There's our fleet cars. Beautiful blue Lexus on the right-hand side there, convertible. You got a Z06 Corvette. You got an E-Ray Corvette. Hey, if you haven't driven the E-Ray, go drive that thing. Go ahead. I'll find the keys for you. We'll send you out in it, Dennis. I know you're not a member. Let's send you out in that E-Ray. It's incredible. And then a Lexus and a Mustang and all sorts of cool stuff here. So, and there's an electric Mustang up there too. So, yeah, those corporate partnerships we have with Ford, Lexus, Chevy, BMW, as you see here on the left side. We've got some fleet cars from Germany that are enjoyable to hop in and do some touring laps with. So, just one more amenity here at Autobahn Country Club. Hey, you want to talk about these billboards? Talk about those billboards, man.
Oh, yeah. Our friends from Maximum Wholesale Specialty Insurance. You can give them a call. How about Action Screen Print and Embroidery? If you need that uniform done just right,
yep,
call Action. Just all part of the great supporters out here of the Autobahn Country Club Speedway. And, I was talking before how this place really changed the way people looked at racing. Because back in the day, Mike, it was not considered a good thing to have a track day for a street legal car. And the idea of a country club for a bunch of auto racing people was totally unknown. And 20 years ago, I think people were a little bit surprised when Autobahn Country Club started. And now there's country club racetracks all over the world. And it was really started right here in Joliet, Illinois.
I agree with that, and they're popping up. They're popping up all over the place. I can't believe how many new country club tracks are popping up, not just in the domestic, the 48 states, but yeah, you're right, around the world. I've seen some really interesting ones in Asia. There's one in Japan, not far out of Tokyo, that looks incredible. These country club tracks are definitely kicking off. And yes, Autobahn is famous for being one of the first, for sure. So, and they are recognized. The principles of Autobahn are recognized around the industry annually. They speak at the Performance Racing Industry Show in Indianapolis in December, where the entire racing and automotive country club community comes together, and Autobahn is routinely recognized as the leader, or at least the first of its kind. And the principals running this place have been doing a bang-up job over the last 20 years to get membership over 500. We've got 500 plus members out here, and it doesn't seem to be holding up. New people rolling in the door all the time. Young kids, we've got established members here whose kids are now of age and are going through karts and now into cars. And so that's an entirely new generation of members who are still, we didn't consider them like they're members. They're part of a family. But now as these kids turn 15, 20, 25, they're still members, and they're junior members. And they can be junior members up until age 26 or 27. And so we're seeing those kids take advantage of that. And so we're seeing a lot of early 20s, 20-something clients and members out here that are enjoying it. So, Yeah, all good stuff. All good stuff throughout your racing career. And if you haven't even started your racing career yet, this is a great place to start. Some of us have started at age 50, and this is what we do, and this is just a great time. So, anyways, back to racing here. Safety cars out. They've led the field back out onto the south track, and they're now already coming through the left-hander at turn 10 for what is going to be. I don't know. Is this have we decided, guys? Is this a 4-lap, 3-lap?
I think we're going to have
6-lap,
4-lap battle here.
It's a 4-lap battle.
That's what it looks like.
Okay. Super excited. I'm going to put the mic in your hand, Dennis. Take us back to green flag.
Actually, I'll do the math right. 3 laps. It'll be a 3-lap shootout, I believe.
How many laps?
Final race of the day out here at the Autobahn Country Club. Autobahn member racing. Always pretty exciting. 3 laps?
Looks like 3 green laps.
3 green laps. Eli Dysart will be leading them to the green flag. Bob Reisinger in second and Connor Miklos in third. Green flag at hand. Eli Dysart will lead them down into turn 1. Bob Reisinger right on his tail. Some good clean racing back in the pack. Dysart continues to hold the advantage. Reisinger in second, and Miklos running a close third now. That first 3 starting to gap a little bit from the rest of the pack.
These laps on cold tires is what separates the boys from the men, and Reisinger is getting himself a nice little run in toward turn 6. He can't do anything with it at the moment, but he is inching himself closer to the back of Eli Dysart and closer to his first win in the Spec Miata class. 2.5 more laps here. Dysart leads in the turn 8.
Eli Dysart has the lead. Bob Reisinger wants it and is right on his tail as they wind around through the corners. And I think Reisinger's looking very, very smooth again after this restart. They've the top 2 have gotten a little bit about 4 or 5 car length lead over third place Connor Miklos, who's also gapped Bruce Malter in 4th and Eric Gortner back there in 5th. But the race up front getting tight, and now Connor Miklos back into the action.
And that Miklos situation happened on the brakes into turn 11. Much better on the brakes than Reisinger was, and he closed up all of that gap. Reisinger had a 5-car length lead heading into that point, and now it's all gone. It's all gone. It's back down to 1 car length, and the top 3 are separated by not much at all, folks.
Coming back to the start-finish line, we'll have just
2 more.
2 laps to go, and Eli Dysart with the lead. Bob Reisinger in second, Connor Miklos in third, Bruce Malter and David Martinelli rounding out your top 5. But the action up front, the top 3 have pulled away.
Oh, wow.
And Eli Dysart loses it coming out of the corner, and that will hand the lead to Bob Reisinger.
Wow, that's going to put Reisinger in a unfamiliar territory, and so the drama is not done. Reisinger and Miklos. Reisinger goes all the way to the inside of 8, and this is what I'm talking about. I don't know what he was doing all the way to the inside, but now they are side by side, and whatever advantage Reisinger had is gone. He still has the lead. He's got a 2-car length lead, but all of it came undone into turn 8. And he somehow collected himself through turn 9, still maintains the lead. The top 3 are Reisinger, Miklos, Malter. Wow.
Bob Reisinger with the lead. He'll bring him back to the start-finish line to take the white flag. But Connor Miklos is hot on his tail and closing ground through every corner. Bruce Malter in third has lost a little bit of ground, but the action up front.
Oh, yeah, and that was a big sideways situation out of turn 12 for somebody back in the pack. Reisinger still holds the lead heading into turns 1 and 2. And battles starting to unfold toward the back of the pack as well. It looked like that was possibly Miller that got sideways. Reisinger still holds the lead heading into 4. Can this guy keep this together for 8 turns? Oh my God, I hang out with this guy on a regular basis. This is not something that is normally happening. What is going on in Spec Miata 2? Can Reisinger grab his first W ever? He currently leads Connor Miklos through turns 8 and approaching 9 on the South Track. Wow.
And a chance to win the overall with Dysart having the poor finish in this race. It is going to be close, though. Bob Reisinger, Connor Miklos continuing to battle as they head towards the back stretch.
Dude, come on. You got 4 turns to go, Reisinger. Let's do this. Keep your head down, son. Let's go. He has a 3-car length lead on the back stretch as they head in toward turn 11. Bob Reisinger in unfamiliar territory. On the brakes into turn 11, no problem. Makes it through turn 12, no problem. Reisinger with a 5-car length lead heading in toward turn 13. He's losing his mind in the cockpit of that car right now. Watch him throw fists out and grab himself his first win. Let's see those fists, Bob. Wow, Bob Reisinger with his first W in a Spec Miata race here at Autobahn Country Club. What a day for him.
What a fantastic finish. Connor Miklos gave him everything he could handle in that final lap. But in the end, Bob Reisinger holds on and he actually pulled out to a half-second advantage over Connor Miklos, who is second. Bruce Malter comes home in third. David Martinelli in fourth. Matt Kopecky in fifth. Eric Gortner finishes in sixth place. Eli Dysart will get credit with 7th place in this final race. Dean Schilling in 8th. Tim Miller 9th, and Randy Cochran rounds out your top 10. Bill Hamill finishes 11th. Tom Milne in 12th. Connor Ryan only completed 6 laps after his crash. He'll get credited with 13th. And Noel Sachs, who was an early retirement after lap 2, will finish 14th for this race. But congratulations to Mr. Bob Reisinger for getting the win today.
Reisinger is crying his eyes out right now. I'm telling you that right now. Guaranteed, Reisinger is crying like a baby in that car after 2 years of putting his head down and getting out here 3 times a week, trying to make that car fast and trying to understand how to make a Spec Miata traverse these corners around the Autobahn Country Club. And up until this point, he just hasn't had the results that he felt like he deserved or certainly wanted, and for good reason. He did not have the skill or his mind where it needed to be, but the amount of time that he spent out here practicing and getting coaching and getting guidance from other people who have done this in the past has paid off for him. And I can guarantee that this emotional person right now is very, very happy at what he's just accomplished and is probably feeling it in the cockpit of that car right now. Congratulations, Bob.
That's the fantastic thing about this SM2 class, because it gives the less experienced racers, whether they're old or whether they're young kids, a chance to test themselves against drivers of equal caliber. And Bob, persevering and keeping to work on his craft of racing and getting the win today, and he looks smooth all day long. This was not a fluke. He looked strong all day long and holds on to get the win. And he held off some pretty good racers to get this win. So very, very impressive. Nate is working his abacus right now to see
won this all?
What the overall finish is going to be.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Because it is going to be tough with a couple of the drivers that we saw that did well in the first 2 races, struggling in this third race. We're going to have to see how the points work out. And Bob was consistent all day. He might be your P1 for the entire event.
It's possible. I think that Connor Ryan went into the race with 2 points, but finishes this race with nothing. I suspect, or at least the maximum.
He'll get credit
points
with 13th, so that would put him at a 17.
Yeah.
So he's not going to be the winner today.
Yeah. So we'll have to go through. You may be looking at the winner, the overall winner of the day,
Eli
Reisinger.
Eli Dysart finished second and 7th. Mm-hmm. So that's 11 for him. I think Bob Reisinger is going to be our winner for the day.
All right, we're going to have to check that out, but this is going to be an exciting podium. So, very cool. You can see the podium down there, getting ready to celebrate everybody, and we'll do the same. But, wow, what an excellent day of racing. It was so fun to bring the Spec Miata Triple Crown to you here on YouTube. And, we're just really excited that you joined us and excited to share with us what we've got going on out at Autobahn Country Club. Yeah,
if you want to be the next Bob Reisinger, you just join Autobahn Country Club as a member, autobahncc.com for more information on that. And Driver Academy is waiting for you. You can learn the fundamentals of handling your vehicle, to pushing boundaries and hitting exhilarating speeds, achieve your driving goals with Autobahn's comprehensive Driver Academy programs, tailored for enthusiasts at every level, and you're never too old or too young to start. See Andrew out here at Autobahn Driver Academy for more information. We're waiting on the final results, but my unofficial math says I think we're going to see Bob Reisinger in that P1 position.
Well, let's hope. Let's hope.
How exciting is it, though, Mike, to see a friend of yours?
Oh, it's really exciting because we've had these long conversations. We've sat around and tried to talk about how it is that you're fast and talk about those things, those not necessarily tangible things, with your mind and with prep and with just being in the right headspace, because we can, at some level, you've done it enough times, we can all drive a race car, right? At some level, we're kind of, we all have those skills once you've done it for a little while. But it's the other stuff. Can you drive a race car for 10 laps with somebody right behind you? And there's the official ruling for how this day plays out. Puts Bob Reisinger on the top step of the podium. That's incredible.
We will say that this is very unofficial because there was that incident out on track.
There was.
And I'm sure they're going to be looking at all of that. So there could be a penalty that ensues. But in the meantime, until we get word, Bob Reisinger is your champion for the day for the SM2 class. Eli Dysart is second with 11 points. Connor Miklos in third. Then it's Bruce Malter and Connor Ryan tying with 15 points apiece. And that'll revert back to the finishing position in this race. So that's Bruce Malter, who will end up in fourth. Connor Ryan fifth. Then Eric Gortner in sixth place. Dave Martinelli, Dean Schilling, Tim Miller, and Randy Cochran unofficially are going to be your top 10. Mike Inzaldi, I want to thank you so much. You made this a riot today.
Thanks, buddy. It's really nice to meet you. It's good to hang out, and it was really fun to call what are some of the more dramatic Spec Miata races that I've seen here this season. So, really a pleasure to hang out with you, and I'll see you next time, buddy.
All right. Lots of fun up here. Calling all this exciting action from the Autobahn Country Club Raceway. Thank you for joining us. For Mike Inzaldi and Nate and the crew. What great camera work we had all day long. This is Dennis Michelson thanking you for joining us today, and we'll catch you next time here on Autobahn Member Racing.